This is Primetime Sports, WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna, 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, wgnssports.com, Big GTV, streaming video, and always at the game. The game. It's where you've had breakfast with the coaches for decades. It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's. We'll sit down with the coaches to talk about their most recent games and the matchups ahead. Now, from WGNS and Big GTV, it's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner.
Well, good November 1st, everybody, on a Saturday morning. November Saturdays means it's playoff football time here now as the high school football regular season is in the can. I guess the work has been finished on that part of the season, and many of our teams will be moving on in the TSSAA playoffs beginning next Friday night. So how did things go this week? Around the state, somewhere around 65% or so of the games were played on Thursday night, and that was a higher percentage here in Rutherford County. All but 2 games happened on Thursday night this week, and then last night, of course, MTCS and PCA played each other, and Eagleville went to Fayetteville, and that allowed us to do 2 games. We had the Oakland-Riverdale rivalry, the Battle of the Borough, the 60th matchup between those 2 teams, and it turned into another one of the instant classics in that series. Oakland winning 35-21, and 28-21 late in the game. Oakland goes for it on 4th down and gets the conversion, and they tack on a late touchdown there. And that was it. A lot happened in between, and it was a fun game. So if you missed part of it, if you went and want to relive that, you can check out Big GTV on YouTube, and on the channel there, you'll be able to go back and watch the game if you like. Maybe save that somewhere. The audio's there as well. You can find it in the podcast section of our website too, and relive that great Battle of the Boroughs, 60th edition. The Blackman Blaze took on Rockvale and were winners 35-7. Siegel beat Laverne 27-6 on Thursday night as the Stars end their season on a high note. It was the Smyrna Bulldogs, a 27-0 victory over Stewart's Creek, and that punched their ticket into the playoffs. Fayetteville City last night defeats Eagleville 20-7, and it was PCA over MTCS 30-13. As PCA, in just their 3rd year of playing football, they played 8-man football before that, but 3rd year in football, and our region champs with the 30-13 victory over Middle Tennessee Christian School. So once again, we've got Riverdale, Oakland, Smyrna, Blackman, Eagleville, PCA, and MTCS as playoff teams, and all of our teams going into the playoffs next week. PCA will not play. They have a bye in the first round. And here are the matchups that are coming up for next week. It will be Riverdale at Lebanon, and that will be our broadcast game coming up on Friday night as we head up 840 to visit the Blue Devils as the Warriors come into town. It will be Oakland hosting Cookeville. Smyrna goes to Green Hill. Blackman will host Gallatin. And we had this picture for you on Thursday night, and of course told you about it last night, but it is official this morning as all of the brackets are out. And as soon as I finish my interviews this morning, we'll get the brackets posted on wgnssports.com for you. Eagleville will travel to McEwen, and Eagleville is in the bracket with McEwen, and I know they're not looking any further down the road, but you win that first football game, not only do you go to McEwen, you would have a road trip to either Memphis Middle College or host Humboldt. So that would be a second round matchup there. I'll tell you about 6A2 here in a second. Again, PCA with a bye. Middle Tennessee Christian School will host Grace Baptist, Chattanooga Grace, let's call it, because there's so many Grace Baptist in the state, a couple of them. In the 6A bracket, here are your matchups. Farragut at Dobbins-Bennett. You've got Gallatin at Blackman. Westridge is at Maryville in the second pod. Riverdale goes to Lebanon, so they're in the same bracket with Maryville and Westridge. Blackman in the same bracket with Dobbins-Bennett and Farragut. Oakland will host Cookeville, and they're in the same bracket with Bradley Central at Jeff County. Smyrna is at Green Hill, and they're in the same bracket with Science Hill at Oak Ridge. So that is the 6A bracket for you real quick here this morning. I told you about Eagleville and MTCS, so I think we've gotten all of the scores in on the Jennings and Ayers Funeral Home scoreboard. We're going to kick things off here this morning with Riverdale, Smyrna, Blackman between now and 9:45. Then John Dinkins will take over and take us through Laverne, Oakland, Stewart's Creek, and Rockvale between 9:45 and 10:45. Then Bill Hockenberry has your last leg of the program today with Siegel, Eagleville, and MTCS Cougar Corner. So strap in on this November 1st and get ready. The coach's conversation is straight ahead. Hey, Rutherford County sports fans, from auto, home, renters, business insurance, and more, trust your local State Farm agents. Celeste Middleton, Rod Reeves, Emerson Williams, Alex Williams, Dana Womack, and Andy Womack. This powerful team lives here, works here, and are your neighbors. They're ready to help you manage everyday risk, recover from the unexpected, and realize your dreams. Contact Celeste, Ron, Emerson, Alex, Dana, or Andy for all of your insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This is Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service. From personal tax preparation to business bookkeeping, payroll, and taxes, at Craig's Tax Service, our staff is here to help.
Get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
As a former Siegel Star football player, I know the importance of the high school sports experience. Good luck to all county student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
Since 1989, Franklin's Printworks has been Rutherford County's trusted partner for high-quality printing with fast turnaround and unbeatable service.
We love to do stuff for the community, for churches, for schools, for nonprofits. We love to get involved with them and partner with them every time we can.
Jeff Carlton with Franklin's Printworks.
People know my name, they have my cell phone number, and they can be confident that we'll make sure it gets done right.
Visit printworkstn.com. Franklin's Printworks, print local, print with confidence.
Winners Trophies can help you with customized awards for any occasion. Owner Kelly Hockenberry continues to provide awards for sports teams, churches, recognition awards, and more. Call Winners Trophies at 904-6002. That's 904-6002 for the best in quality, service, and pricing. You can also email Kelly, winnerstrophy@comcast.net. That's winnerstrophy@comcast.net. Any award for any occasion. Winners Trophies, 904-6002.
We're here at Rick's Barbecue catching up with Anne-Marie Brents, who tells us not only do they have barbecue, smoked chicken, loaded baked potatoes, but the slaw dogs are out of this world.
I do love the slaw dogs. People are like, is that a big sausage? I'm like, no, it's a deep fried hot dog. And the slaw that we put on them is a spicy mustard slaw. It's actually really good. I like to dip it in white sauce.
Rick's Barbecue has awesome deals to feed the entire family.
We have family packs, and it can feed 4 to 6 people. We have a picnic pack, which is the family pack doubled.
Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450, WGNSsports.com, and Big G TV.
Coach's Show is brought to you in part by First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. If you're looking for a hometown feel with your bank, turn to First National Bank of Middle Tennessee, offering full-service banking and mortgage services. Time to talk Riverdale football this morning. Coach Will Kreisky and the Warriors kick us off every Saturday morning here on the Coach's Show, a distinction that goes back to the early 90s. So just so folks know, I get that question about once a year from somebody.
Riverdale goes first?
Uh-huh.
It's so I can avoid Kevin Creasy.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is. Yeah, y'all do it right.
Well, that is why it was done in the 90s, too, by the way. Different coaches.
So I don't have to see Kevin Creasy every Saturday morning. Unfortunately, I have to see the Blackman coach no matter what. So.
Well, that's true. And Thanksgivings and all that stuff. Coach, Battle of the Borough Week, is it one of the most stressful, or is it?
Nah, I mean, it's Battle of the Borough. You don't have to say anything to the kids.
Right.
I mean, the way we prepared, there's nothing that I can be upset with at the preparation of the kids, at what we did at practice last week, what we did at walkthroughs on Thursday. Just how they prepared, I was proud of them. They prepared like an elite football team. You know, what I'm tired of hearing is, the next day after we play Oakland, y'all were so close. Y'all did a good job. No, that's not the standard at Riverdale. A good job and losing, it doesn't go hand in hand at Riverdale. That's not the standard. The standard is to win every time you step on the field. And we got to get over the hump. Last 3 games, we've led in the second half with Oakland, and we haven't finished. And I got to do a better job as a head coach to make sure those kids are finishing those games, those elite games. And, we lived up to the standard for 3.5 quarters, and we just got to live that standard for 4 quarters for 48 minutes against elite football teams. Well,
as we talk about some of what happened during that game, to me, it starts with the effort of your quarterback, Gavin Hampton. Want to make him the SRM solid performer. 24 of 31, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, added a touchdown run as well. We said during the broadcast that, that was something to see.
He did. Gavin played really well. He's gotten better each and every week, and that's what Coach Barnes statistically does. Offensively, we get better each and every week, and Gavin played really well. The O-line, I thought they played extremely well. Oakland's defense is legit now. They're good. Best defense we've seen all year, and they fly around. And I was really proud of our skilled kids finding a window, get open, and catching the ball clean. They did a great job, and I was really proud of Jacob Vaughn running behind his pads. And the thing you got to do against Oakland is sustain drives. You can't go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, or it gets ugly really fast. And our offense was able to sustain drives and eat up minutes of the clock. And I was proud of how they did. And defense played well at times. And, the frustrating part is, we'd had Dante, bottled up, and he bust out and get a 30, 40-yard gain. Or, we have Cam Morton bottled up, and he bust out. Their explosive plays happened, either on cutback or, perfect coverage and the quarterback sneaks out the backfield. And, that's just a test to Coach Creasy and his offense and with the skill kids he has. And, it stinks for us to see Dante have that success, but I couldn't be more proud of a kid. And I'm not proud of it. He's doing it at Oakland, you know what I mean? But Dante texted me yesterday. We got a relationship. Kids leave me, I still have relationships with them. They're still my. I don't get mad. It's part of the business now. And if we're truly in it for relationships and taking care of kids, Dante's had some crisis since he left me. He still reaches out. That's just who we are at Riverdale, man. We're a relationship. That's how we found, our culture is a relationship. But Dante played really well, and he did really. It's not surprising to me because I saw that all last year out of him.
Yeah. Gavin Hampton, our SRM solid performer, SRM Concrete, locally grown, nationally known. You mentioned explosive plays, and I guess none more explosive than the opening kickoff for them. But for your guys to have the poise to come right back, sometimes that can be a shell shocker. And when you're in a big emotional game like that, but your guys didn't really flinch.
No, I was really proud of that. I was not proud because that was not our kickoff. That's not
right.
That's not our standard on our special team. That's not what that's not the standard. It's not Riverdale standard, especially special teams play. But I was proud that the kids didn't get down. The kids didn't start yelling at each other. They said, all right, we got it. Let's go. We got the ball and took it down and scored and matched it. And that's what you have to do in those type of games. You can't they're going to make plays. They're going to score touchdowns. They are talented. But you got to live and play the next play, and that's what we preach to the kid. They're going to hit you in the mouth. How will you respond? Will you hit them back in the mouth? And I felt like at times we did that, and our kids responded really well at times.
Time of possession is not a stat that we're able to keep with just everything else going on, but you just by eyeballing the game and being there, it seemed like you had the ball much more than they did, and able to sustain those drives. And that's what you were talking about just a second ago. You know, you can't go 3 and out against them.
No, that's the key. You got to sustain drives. And I thought there was a few times that we have not had success when we get behind the chains, and we were able to have success, you know, 3rd and long, 2nd and long, to be able to make plays and move the chains. And, you know, Oakland would get us to 3rd down, and we would convert on 3rd down. And that's huge to move the chains. And I can't brag enough on our line. They did a good job with it. You know, we struggled a little bit against Rockville blocking, and you know, maybe our focus wasn't where it needed to be that game, but I felt like the O-line, the focus was there, the drive was there, the determination was there to have that success up front.
Gavin's, he had guys all over the field just making plays. Corbin Reynolds, 6 catches, 78 yards. Luke Tritch, 5 for 59 and a touchdown. Corbin had a touchdown as well. He's got it seems like he's in sync with all of his receivers. I mean, they know how to complement each other very well.
Yeah, they're getting better. You know, Riley Talley, you don't see, you know, he's not always in the, you know, stat line like high numbers, but he is very critical to what we do, and he makes really good catches in critical moments. And also, he's a heck of a blocker on the edge. He does a great job, and he plays his role, and he gives 110% with his role, and that's what you got to have. You got to have guys doing that, and I'm really proud of how they've grown up each and every week.
If there was something that you hear, and I think I don't know if you're watching the same team, but you know that Riverdale's just going to pass the ball. Well, look at Vaughn. What kind of night did he have?
He had a great night, exactly. And Jacob does a good job. What helps is Jacob does a great job catching out of the backfield also.
Yes.
Does a really good job with that. And so, you know, you have to know where he's at. And, you know, is he split out at receiver? Is he in the backfield? You know, Coach Barnes does very creative ways to get him the football. I mean, when you run like he runs, you got to give him the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and Gavin was able to check down to him a couple of times when, you know, and you were able to convert some 3rd downs just on that kind of play.
Yes, and he's gotten better, you know, and unfortunately he got one of those unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, and I'm not defending my kid. It was questionable. You know, it was an emotional game, and a little extra creek. Like I told you earlier, Coach Creasy does a great job stealing extra yards, and he got us. He got us.
Well, it was one of those games, and we see in games like that, I mean, the officials know too that it's that kind of a game. So, do you feel like they maybe call games a little closer, or
the issue was it's on TV, and when it's on TV, things are a lot different. When it's on TV,
because they've got a lot of other eyes on it too.
Yes, you got to make sure they don't have streamers on. You got to make sure the knees are covered up. Every little thing has to be taken care of because of TV game. They're always been evaluated. But the crew we had was an awesome crew. It was an all-star crew.
Yeah.
They did a good job managing the game, and you know, you're always going to disagree with some calls that don't go your way. I mean, that's just the nature of us. But you know, I thought overall it was a good, clean call game.
Well, it's amazing to me that we're already here to November, and you know, the Thanksgiving turkey's being purchased here in a couple of weeks, and it's playoff football time. This year, the regular season, just, you know, if you had a couple of sentences to describe that for your Riverdale Warriors, what would you say?
Man, just the toughness of our kids, the resiliency. You know, I mean, things haven't gone our way this year. You know, we lost 5 turnovers against Knox Catholic, come back to work. You know, lost on the last drive against Blackman, come back to work, won 6 straight. You know, and they're resilient. They believe. They live the standard. They trust the standard, and they keep coming to work. And that's what I told them, you know, a Thursday after the game. Like, guys, you just went toe-to-toe with the number 1 team in 6A. How are you going to respond? Are you going to let it affect us next week? I said, because nothing's guaranteed after next Friday. Nothing. You know, and if you live the standard and believe the standard and trust the standard, things will go good next week. But if you don't, you know, we'll be one and done in the playoffs.
Well, the playoff picture is a lot different this year. The first round, maybe not so much so, because these are teams, like Lebanon and Cookeville and Green Hill and such, and Gallatin and all that we have been matched up with in the first round. But the second round, third round, and I know you're not looking down that far, but the pods and how they're put together, just any initial thoughts. I haven't talked to anybody about it because nobody wants to talk about playoffs until playoffs are here. But any thoughts on? It's definitely going to create some travel. Come around 2, 3, 4.
Being the number one in your region is huge now.
It really is.
It's huge ordeal, and that's why Coach Creasy knew it was a big game, and why he was rooting for Blackman last night or Thursday night. So he was texting my brother, pull it off, and because he knew our game was going to be a battle, and so it was. It's huge. You want the number one seed is what obviously what you go for each and every year, but it's critical now.
Yeah, that is one huge thing, and I don't think if you haven't looked past or taken a look at a bracket, you need to take a look at that. But it also honestly makes some teams who maybe have had an easier road in the playoffs really have to earn it if they want to get to the big dance.
Yeah, I don't think some of those East Tennessee teams voted for this.
Exactly. I wouldn't if I were them, would you?
So I don't think they voted for it. I think it was more of our region.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Our region made voices, and last year, last few years it's been Riverdale, Blackman second round, and then Oakland third. So it's good to play different teams. Get your kids on a bus. Let's go travel. If you make it that far, that's what it's about. That's the time of year, and unfortunately it costs a lot of money, but it's a good experience for these kids.
Lebanon Blue Devils will be your next opponent. It's on the road there. We're going to head to Lebanon to broadcast that game next Friday night from Tommy Bryan Press Box. And Lebanon has always been just one of those places that I don't care what sport it is hard to go there and win a game.
It's very hard. Unfortunately, in my tenure, I haven't had a lot of success at Lebanon. I've taken 2 teams down there and come back with 2 losses, and I'm going to preach to the kids this week. You can't look into you can't look forward. All you're looking to is next Friday, and you got to pay attention. Coach Chuck Gentry is a phenomenal coach. He does a great job. Those kids are well coached, disciplined. They may not be as athletic as a Rutherford County team, but they play almost perfect. They're going to do their assignment every single snap of the ball. They're going to be in the right spot every snap. Then they're not going to have dumb penalties, and they're not going to have any penalties. They're a very disciplined football team.
They're also coming in. And to me, I think this makes them more dangerous. I've heard people say, well, they've lost 3 out of their last 4 or whatever, and I don't care. They're number 2, and they're hosting, and it's at Lebanon. And, when you turn the page and turn the script after the regular season to the playoffs, you're going to get everybody's best shot.
Yeah, they're going to be fired up. Coach Gentry does a good job, playing the role of, being the underdog, and he's going to do a good job getting those guys motivated, and they'll be ready to go when it comes 7 o'clock next Friday.
Well, definitely as the Riverdale postseason goes along, it's going to be having to get some things done on the road here, but your guys are ready to go, and you'll get the buses fueled up and figure that out. Yeah,
our coaches and everybody get back to work, and kids get back to work, and let's go. It's playoff is November.
That's right. Will, thanks for coming in this morning. Appreciate it. Will Kreisky, the head coach of the Riverdale Warriors, joining us here on the Coaches Show, brought to you by State Farm agents Andy Womack, Dana Womack, Celeste Middleton, Alex Williams, Ron Reeves, and Emerson Williams. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Every team knows which play can be a winning move. I'm State Farm agent Andy Womack, here to help life go right by combining your home and auto insurance. Call me today at 615-890-0850. It's a winning move that saves you time and money.
In Rutherford County, you know how much it means to have neighbors you can count on. I'm State Farm agent Alex Williams, here to help life go right when you combine home and auto insurance. Call me today at 615-898-1150 and let me save you some money and time.
Hey there, it's Brian, and I wanted to share just one reason why I've been a customer of First National Bank of Middle Tennessee for years. What I love most is how they're always there for me, no matter what I need. I know I'm not just another number. When I have a question, I can count on getting a real answer from a real person who knows me and my financial goals. They're always showing up for me, and they can for you too.
First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. We show up for you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 401715.
Dr. Russell McKissick of Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance talks about the grassroots effort in our local schools to ensure proper care for players.
To make sure our teams are covered here locally, be there for our trainers. Yeah, it's a passion that we have to try to take care of our athletes here in town and be there just to keep everybody playing as healthy and as best they can.
From a community standpoint, one of the most important things you do at TOA, I'd guess.
I think it's definitely a way to pay back to our community, just to be there for them and watch some great sports too.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, live your best life.
How about a fix for your sweet tooth? Donut Country is open 24 hours a day to cure your cravings. They've been serving up the freshest donuts in Murfreesboro since 1978. There's just something different about donuts from Donut Country. Bo and Cindy Davis and their wonderful staff will greet you with a smile, and you'll see all donuts aren't created equal. Fresh donuts anytime you want them, 24/7 at Donut Country on Memorial down from Clark. And they're open each morning on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Check out their Facebook page for specials and promotions. Nothing else compares to Donut Country. Open 24 hours.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
This is a paid legal ad.
At the law offices of John Day, we take only real cases that make a real difference.
Dear John, I want you to know that I appreciate everything you have done so much. I know you went over and beyond, and that's why I just think the world of you. Thank you. Robert K.
My pleasure, Robert. If you're ever injured, know that we are here for you too. Call the law offices of John Day for a free consultation. And remember, there's no fee unless we win your case. Seriously injured? Call me, John Day.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450 WGNSsports.com and Big G TV.
Our Coaches Show conversation here is brought to you by the law offices of John Day. They've helped thousands of people get legal help when they've needed it the most. If you've been injured, call the law offices of John Day for a free consultation. Talking Smyrna football this morning. Jason Pitts is here with us, and Coach, good morning to you.
Good morning, Brian.
Good to talk to you. I would say that I mean, you have a deep enough voice, but it's not Matt Williams. But you know, it's always.
No, he's definitely unique.
Yeah. He's got a loud voice though too. He can be heard all over, right?
Yes, sir. He absolutely can.
Jason, how many years is this for you at Smyrna?
Off and on, 15 years.
I knew it had been a minute.
I've been at Smyrna early, and my wife's from Texas, so we wound up moving to Texas for a little while, and then we came back for a little bit, and I went to Siegel to be a coordinator, and then came back to Smyrna. It's hard to stay away from the Bulldogs.
Yeah. I guess when it gets in your blood, it's in your blood, huh?
Yes, sir, it is.
You know, we've seen so much change in the last 15 years. I mean, from game night to facilities to drones in the air to all kinds of things, you know. And the reason I bring this up is I had someone who said that they went to a Smyrna game recently, and it was the first time that they had been in about 5 years, and they were just blown away by facilities. They were blown away by just the game experience that's there. They were, you know, it was like, you know, tents on the sidelines, and you know, you see these big screen TVs, and they're watching plays. It's just like college, and you know, and the pros. So that you have to keep up with all of that kind of thing, and you're lucky enough to be at a school that wants to be on the cutting edge of all that.
Oh, absolutely, and it definitely has. You're talking about just the last 5 years. It's between having the turf put in. And then the weight room, the locker rooms, it's completely different. We've had a lot of old players come through over the last year or so, and like you said, blown away seeing it all. And it's a testament. Dow Smith is him in combination of Smyrna Ready Mix. They've done a lot to really up our game, give us a chance to compete around here. It's nice. Like I'm biased being having graduated from Smyrna and spent so much time coaching there. I feel like it's one of a kind.
Oh, it definitely is. And you mentioned Dow Smith, and that's a guy who has been there from day one, it seems. I mean, he's just
absolutely
he's purple and gold through and through, isn't he? He
is, and he's not like people don't understand like his investment. Like he helped with construction and fundraising and all. But Dow, like I organize a lot of stuff in the team, and he's my chain crew guy. Like he's my guy that makes sure we have guys run the chain crew on Friday nights on the sideline. And I mean, he's there every Friday night early and stays late. He's a feet on the ground kind of guy that does everything he can do to help the program.
Well, Jason, you mentioned that's your school, your alma mater. It's hard to stay away, and I think Smyrna does it about as well as anybody. You hear once whatever your mascot is, always Bulldog in this case, and I think you make those folks who've been coming for 40 years feel great, and those kids that are juniors at the school feel like this is our school, this is and take pride in it, and that starts at the top. I can't say enough about Dr. Sutherland and just the times that we come out and the game day experience and what they do to help us. I mean, it's truly class act what from top to bottom there.
It is. It matters to her. Being able to put on what we're able to put on. I mean, she takes pride in it, and we're lucky to have a principal like her that is invested as much as she is. I mean, just like we're talking about Dow, she is definitely feet on the ground, kind of involved with every aspect she can be involved with, and not necessarily a micromanager, but just that it's her school, and she's learned under Mr. Rakes, and it's like having just a new version of him out there all over campus.
And I saw him probably 2 weeks ago at the gas station. He was filling up the car out there and still going strong. But talk about somebody who has had a lasting impact. I mean, years after retiring, and I mean his blood still runs through Smyrna High School, and it's going to for a long time.
Oh, it absolutely will. I kid you not, we were practicing one day last year, and it's a Tuesday, and the middle school games we host. Rocky Fork plays their games over in our field, and so they're showing up, and we leave the game field and go down to the practice field. We go running down the hill to the practice field, and there's a car on the practice field. Somebody's out there trimming branches that are hanging over the fence and it's Mr. Rakes. He comes around. He can't stay away. He takes pride in the way things look, even after all these years of retirement. He's definitely young in soul.
Yeah,
he's going to stay involved as long as he can stay involved.
That's awesome. Well, I got a little more philosophical on you. I didn't mean to do that, but it's always fun to get to talk to you. You had a huge game to end the regular season on Thursday when you play. I mean, you've got so many rivals at Smyrna, but I mean, this is a team that's just a few miles up the road, and their hometown is your hometown. I mean, it's Smyrna High School, Smyrna, Tennessee, Stewart's Creek High School, Smyrna, Tennessee. So, I mean, the Mayor's Cup, all of that. It's a big emotional game to end the season for you guys, and came out on the plus side of that one.
We did. It definitely is a big emotional thing. It's I say it all the time. I've told my son for years, and he's in college now, but rivalry games, anything can go. It doesn't matter how good or bad you are. You can see if you get a rivalry game and you have somebody that's 1-8 and roll in there and beat an 8-1 team, because anything happens. The emotions get involved and just a lot of chance things, and you always get you get that other team's the best they got. They're going to throw everything at you that they can, and so it's fun though. These kind of nights that you can play that crosstown rival, it adds a little extra excitement to it.
Well, talk about one of our SRM concrete solid performers from Thursday night's game. 17 rushes, 176 yards, a couple of touchdowns, including a 55-yard plus touchdown run for Travell Gordon. Just talk about that young man and what he's meant to your team this year.
He has given our run game a spark for sure. He's started the year off just a little slow. We've been working on getting him consistent, and man, I think he's shown everybody over the last 2 weeks he's not just in football. I would dare to say he's the fastest kid in the school. You know, he runs a 100-meter and a 200-meter dash in track, and he can fly. He's gotten really good about following his blocks and finding that crease. And then once he gets an open, he's taken to the house. And with him, it's not even a speed thing. You know, he had a 97-yarder against Laverne last week, and he ran through two guys before he got out in the open. So he's got a great combination of balance and power and speed. And so he's definitely given us a spark. You know, we're going to feed him and get him that opportunity to break one loose.
Travell Gordon, our SRM Concrete solid performer, locally grown, nationally known, SRM Concrete. Coach Pitts, Jason Pitts, joining us this morning. I just could not get over the beast that was Jerry Martin III a few weeks ago, you know, when we came to do your game with Laverne, and just his stats are unbelievable. I mean, he has to be tops in the state in many of the defensive stat categories, and man, it's like he lifts that entire defense up.
He does. He carries them. You know, we've put him up from Mr. Football lineman. I think it's deservedly so. You know, he's last night or Thursday night. I'm still getting these Thursday night games.
Yeah.
He had 8 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. I mean, he was unblockable. They tried. You know, you get rivalry game and kids talk a lot back and forth, and they talked a big game about shutting him down, and they haven't. He's played against, you know, because he played as a freshman on varsity. In 4 years, they hadn't blocked him yet. But on the season, he's got, 68 tackles on the season. That puts him top 20. He's got 18 tackles for loss. That puts him in the top 5. He's got 9.5 sacks. That puts him in the top 2 in our class. And then, you got some forced fumbles. He's blocked field goals. He's broken up passes. Like you said, he's a monster. He takes over ball games.
Yeah, man, the monster is right. He could go as Jerry Martin III for Halloween and scare a lot of people. So
he could.
Yeah.
On top of it, I'm going to say too, I'll throw it out there. He is a great kid.
Yeah. Well, that's
good. You
good.
won't find a teacher in the school, like every teacher in school loves him. He is just a fantastic kid.
That makes it even better, and so. Well, the page has turned on the regular season. You guys knew what you had to do to get in the playoffs. You had to have a win. In the last couple of weeks, you played your 2 biggest rivals. Get wins there, go in on a bit of a win streak here, and make the playoffs. And I know that is probably one of many goals that you have at Smyrna High School year in and year out. And in the playoffs, once again, you head to Green Hill and talk a little bit about the upcoming game next Friday.
They're a good football team. They won their region. I think they finished 8-2, but they're, Josh Crouch does a good job. Smyrna alumni. I now feel like I'm getting old because I coached him when he was in high school. And he was on those, I think he was class of 06 at Smyrna, and he does a good job getting his guys prepared. They're going to be physical running the football. They've got a good quarterback out there. He's a tall kid, got a really good arm. He runs the ball well himself. Defensively, they're an odd front, but they mix it up. I mean, they're going to be a very well-coached team that's going to be physical and get after you. And they play well in all 3 phases, not only offense and defense, but they do a good job on special teams. He throws in, some nice trick stuff, trying to get some onside kicks or some fakes on punts and field goals. So he's going to make you have to prepare and be ready for it.
Well, I hope the purple and gold will get everybody out there and come out and support the Smyrna Bulldogs as they travel to Green Hill next Friday night. And it's always fun to talk Smyrna football, and always good to catch up with you, Jason.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brian. I enjoy coming on every day.
That sounds great. Let's do it again sometime. That is Coach Jason Pitts joining us from Smyrna High School on the Coaches Show, brought to you by SRM Concrete, the largest ready-mix producer in the country, yet still family-owned and operated. Locally grown, nationally known, SRM Concrete delivers unmatched quality and service. You call, we haul.
The frustration many are feeling is real and justified. Kenneth Barrett said that after the county commission denied raises for deputies this year, and as sheriff, fair pay will be a top priority.
We need to figure out how we can get ours comparable to other agencies and start communication with the county commission to try to get less steps at a higher percentage.
With nearly 30 years at the sheriff's office, Barrett brings servant leadership, accountability, transparency, and fairness. Learn more at KennethBarrettForSheriff.com.
Paid for by Kenneth Barrett for Sheriff, J.M. Stewart Treasurer.
You probably have a lot of questions. How do you make your savings last? You're ready for retirement, but are your finances? Let's work together to help ensure your finances can keep up with your unique needs over the long haul. I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Lee Colvin. Stop by our office in the Public Shopping Center on South Rutherford Boulevard or give us a call at 615-907-7056 for an appointment. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Choosing the right insurance can be overwhelming. That's where Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance comes in. At Rayburn, we're not just about policies, we're about people. Rick Hall will take the time to understand your needs and find the best coverage at the best price. We've been serving our community since 1973. So why not let Rick Hall take the stress out of insurance? Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency, where you're more than just a policy number. You're our neighbors.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom designed jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service. We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service reminds you that it makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We've been serving Rutherford County since 1988.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
We're just off Memorial Boulevard at 142 Heritage Park Drive.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450 WGNSsports.com and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you in part by JHA Company, Josh Houston and Associates. Jewelry, letter jackets, yearbooks, graduation products, and more. JHACompany.com. Kreisky joins us this morning. We're talking Blackman football, and Coach, you know, you did something last week for the first time that any coach has had to do, and that is have to look at a TV to have somebody interview you.
Yeah, how's he doing? Is he doing better?
Yeah, he can hear you, but he can't talk. So
okay.
Right now,
well, that's a good thing. He can't talk.
Oh well, regular season in the books, Coach, and winners over the Rockville Rockets 35-7 on Thursday night. how do you like Thursday night games? I guess you get to do a little trick or treating on Fridays for Halloween, but what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was a quick turnaround from the previous Friday, and playing a team like Rockville, you're trying to cram everything in a shorter amount of period. It's tough because you want to make sure you cover and go over everything, and then you worry about how the kids are going to respond during the short week because it's different. But that was our third Thursday game this year, so I felt like the kids were used to it, the norm. They knew how we were going to practice the week that we played on Thursday. So I think having 3 and throughout the year kind of really helped us prepare and be ready for the game Thursday.
The traditionalists that say high school football is Friday night, I mean, that ship has sailed. You're going to have to play some Thursday nights from now on, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's just with the rest situation and just way things are. And it's not bad. Having 1 or 2 kind of breaks up the monotony throughout the year. But gives the kids at least 1 or 2 Fridays off during the year. But it was good. We were able to. I came in yesterday, went through a workout and kind of reviewed some film, and we started talking about Gallatin.
Going into the playoffs, I guess it does give you an extra day to be able to do something like that, and the difference between one extra day could be of getting somebody back in that was dinged up and not maybe.
Yeah. The biggest thing about this time of year is getting the kids some rest and recovery. Think that's huge this time of year. Make sure that you have all your guys ready and for the playoff game, because it's like I said, I was here last year. With the 4 seed, everybody's 0-0. Everybody is 0-0 right now. Can throw the records out the window. It's you got to be ready to play Friday night, or if you're not, your season's over with. You
go into that game and assured a playoff berth, but there could have been some really weird things happen. And I guess, did you preach to your guys, we go out here and win, we can control our destiny and we know where we're going to be?
Yeah, I tell the kids all week, we got to worry about Blackman. We can't worry about anything outside of Blackman. We got to take care of business and do what we're supposed to do. We felt like if we won the game Thursday, that we would have a home playoff game, and that was one of our goals going into the year is to get a home playoff game. So excuse me, the kids were locked in. They were ready to go Friday night, and it was a fun game.
You had some really explosive plays, especially on special teams and defensively against Rockville, and sometimes that can just really give you a lot of gas, and did that help you guys on Thursday night, you think?
Yeah, we had a kickoff return, but I think the biggest thing that really kind of set the game apart is, we had 3 interceptions, two returned for a touchdown. The third one was returned for touchdown, but it got called back. Jaden Lark, I believe his was a 60-yard touchdown run. Trey Thornton was I believe it was a 46 INT for a touchdown. And then Emory Harris, he returned it back for a touchdown, but he got called back for a block in the back. Those 3 turnovers were really huge. And then we caused a turnover, caused the quarterback to fumble and recovered it. In our area, and so that was huge. Having 4 turnovers in a game is really huge, and that really, our defense really stepped up from the previous week. I was really proud of how they responded and accepted the challenge. What the defensive staff did, and how they got them ready and prepared for Thursday night.
Do you have a kickoff return too?
Yes, we had a kickoff return. Within the span, I believe it was under a minute. We scored 14 points in under a minute, and I think I look up, I feel like we were going into halftime up 7, and it was a 14-point swing within, I believe, 50 seconds, and that was huge. And I think it kind of the game changed. Everything changed within that 50 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know if when you were looking at film, if you saw the Rockville Smyrna game, a similar thing happened to them right before the half, and all of a sudden that has to be such a boost. I mean, you're up 7 going into the second half. It's a totally different story.
It is. I was on the headsets telling the coaches, we're going to get ready, guys. We got to go in here and then we got to regroup because we're going to come out in the second half and it's going to be a dogfight. But and then once that swing happened, you could tell our energy went from, we're kind of low, and then the kids went crazy in the locker room. They were excited. We had to calm them down and let them know, hey, we still got two more quarters of football to play. But it was a huge momentum swing for us. I think Rockville's a really, really good football team, a well-coached football team. And like I've mentioned before on this show, I believe they could go in the playoffs and win a playoff game.
Yeah. Matt Kreisky here with us as we talk Blackman football. Let's talk just a second about the strength of this region. I told you when you were coming in that there was one team in particular when I looked at the 6A playoff bracket that I was glad that they're finally going to have to play somebody the first several rounds here, and that's every night in this region.
Yeah.
I mean, you overlook a Rockville, they could drill you.
Yeah, there's like since week 5, there's no Friday or Thursday nights off. You got to be ready to go and ready to play. You can't take a night off and just think you're going to come in here and come into the game and just cruise. You got to be mentally ready and prepared to play.
I mean, a Cookeville team from the other region we're paired up with is in the playoffs, had a chance to compete for a region championship this year toward the end of the season, or in the playoffs, and a team, Siegel, who is just out of the top 4 in our region, beat at Cookeville, which is almost impossible to do. So, I think that gets you ready for this time of the year, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And on another note, I gotta talk about our offense. Past 2 weeks, we've really been preaching the run game. We rushed for over 200 yards. Jabari Kemp had a huge carry. The first carry of the game was huge. Proud of him and what he's done this year for us, being a senior. We've got 3 backs. Since Daniel Smith has finally got healthy, we've got 3 backs we can rotate. And we think those 3 backs are really good and give us. They're all a little different. Jabari. Finished tonight with a little over 100 yards, and Micah and Daniel each had around 40 yards apiece. So that was huge, and that's one of the things we're working on. With our offensive line is kind of getting our run game going again. And I felt like our offensive line, we got an outstanding group of guys playing up front. I think they've really come together and really accepted the challenge that we've presented to them the past 2 weeks and help us reestablish our run game. And running for 200 yards, man, that says a lot about our offensive line and what they do. Proud of those guys up front. Kenny Jackson, Terry Baskin, Mikael Rodriguez, all those Nehemiah Blackwell, all those guys do an outstanding job. Let me forget about Daniel Hernandez. He's the smallest one out there. I mean, the shortest one, but man, he gives us everything he has, and we're really proud of that group up front and how they've bonded and come together the past couple of weeks.
Wanted to actually highlight Jabari this morning as our SRM concrete solid performer. You mentioned he had 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, a big 50-plus yarder in the game for you. So great game from Jabari. And, sometimes, Coach, you as you're going into playoffs, you're on that upward trajectory, and sometimes teams are not. Yeah. I think you guys are, though.
I hope we are. And that's, going back to Jabari. There's been times throughout the year he's probably been a little frustrated. And I would say frustrated in a selfish way. Frustrated because he's a competitor. All 3 of them are. I know they get frustrated at times, but they want to prove what they can do. And I finally had to sit all 3 of them down and let them know, hey, when you get your touch, when you get your carry, make the best of it, because we don't know how many you'll get. And then we try to even them out with average them, each of them. Jabari ended up, I believe, with 11, and the other 2, I think, had 6 or 7 apiece. And so they all did a great job. And they've finally come together and realizing, hey, we're in this together, we're doing this together. And that's our team culture. That's what we try to do is, we're a team, we're not a bunch of individuals. And what's so good about it is when Jabari scored a touchdown. You see the receivers running over there celebrating with them, and it's just like you said. I think we're starting to come together, and hopefully we're coming together at the right time.
Well, you have in the first round of the playoffs the Gallatin Green Wave, and for Rutherford County folks, that brings back a lot of memories. We have had some wars with Gallatin over the years, and they wind up the number 4 seed, and I think they were 6-3 on the year. So I mean, they've had a fine year. So that was a very competitive region there too.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game for us. Their quarterback got hurt a couple weeks ago, so they moved a kid to quarterback. He's an athlete. He runs the ball well. He's starting to manage the game a lot better. He's improved each week since he's been back there. So we're gonna have to come ready. You know, it's not just like we said earlier. It's not gonna be a game that we just show up. So we've got to be well prepared and ready to go.
Well, you know, the opportunities to have you know, home gate and a lot of people and make a little money to make sure that the program can continue to do the things that you need to do. I mean, this is where you really call on your fans to come out and support. And I know Blackman fans will be there.
They're going to be there. You know, the stands are going to be filled. Community, everybody in the community going to be there. The youth football league, Nate's going to bring out the youth football league. We'll have some real big support. So we're excited. You know, the kids, you can see it after the game. You know, kind of a little relief getting, because you know we've talked about it all year. One of our goals, you know, about getting that home playoff game, and so it's exciting. It's great to see all the work these kids have been putting in since January and accomplish a goal. You know, and we're really proud of what they've done so far. But it's not over yet.
That is true. The playoff road. Month of November is going to be very interesting to see unfold, and appreciate you coming in this morning, Coach, and always look forward to talking with you, and looking forward to seeing what can happen in the playoffs for your 9-1 Blackman Blaze. And what an accomplishment on the regular season, 9-1, runner-up in the region, in a very competitive region, and playoff time is here. Coach, appreciate you.
Thank you.
That's Matt Kreisky joining us this morning on the Coach's Show, which is brought to you by Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency in Smyrna. Give Rick a call for auto, home, business, and life insurance needs online at rayburn.net.
At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we're committed to providing local car owners with top-notch auto repair services. Let's hear what some customers have to say about Dr. Automotive.
I just really appreciate Danny and his whole team. I always feel like I'm going to get great service and the right outcome.
You just don't find any better people.
He's always been very good.
We've got the cure for your car. Dr. Automotive, keeping your car running smoothly mile after mile. Visit our website, smyrnaautorepair.com.
Kenneth Barrett will bring positive change as sheriff and connecting more with the community, celebrating the hard work of deputies, and using technology to improve communication. After nearly 30 years in law enforcement, he knows the value of teamwork, transparency, and public trust. Now he's ready to create a department where people want to serve and stay.
I'm Kenneth Barrett, running for Rutherford County Sheriff, and I'd appreciate your vote.
Paid for by Kenneth Barrett for Sheriff, Treasurer J.M. Stewart.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Auctions are easy, fast, and profitable.
I've always been a big fan of auctions. Get instant sale, no contingencies.
That means the sale of your property won't depend on an inspection, financing, or appraisals.
I've known the guys over there my entire life.
Call Parks Auction and Realty or visit parksauction.com.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Parks Auction Company, committed to auction excellence.
Sold it to you, 27.5.
If you need concrete work done, who would I call? Dan France Concrete. Here's why. He's local. He attended Walter Hill Elementary, Oakland, and MTSU. He served our community as a school resource officer for 9 years, and he's involved in the community.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Dan France Concrete is a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. Check out danfranceconcrete.com online to see some of their work.
At Middle Tennessee Electric, we see the lines that link us all, illuminating our neighborhoods, empowering our businesses, and helping us to recharge. Because we believe in the power of good energy. Whether it comes from our grids, the sun, or a kind heart. And as your family and our region continue to grow, you can trust that we'll always be there for you. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
As this portion of the Coach's Show is brought to you by Rick Hall with Rayburn Insurance Agency in Smyrna. Give Rick a call for auto, home, business, and life insurance needs. Find out more online at rayburn.net. John Dinkins back with you here for the middle portion of the show, and we've got a Laverne coach here, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself here, Coach.
Hi, my name is Aaron Pitts. I coach at Laverne High School, and I'm glad to be here today.
Glad to see you. And, of course, Chris has been there several times, and glad to see that he's bringing some of his assistant coaches around. I know the season is not what you guys wanted it to be, just overall, I think you've got to look at the overall picture, though, with Laverne. And let's take the game last Thursday night. Siegel, a really good team, even though they didn't make the playoffs. They're really solid ball club, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They do a great job of coaching over there. The kids play hard, and they execute on offense and defense, and also special teams. Again, they do a great job. I thought our kids fought hard. In the end, we just didn't make enough plays to come out with the victory.
Has it been the offensive consistency? That has been something you guys have struggled with all year, really, hadn't it? I mean, in terms of they may put a good drive together, or something may go wrong, a miscue, or whatever. But it's the consistency that you guys have been looking for.
Yeah, we've struggled with that all season. The kids are playing hard. As you well know, on offense, you get a penalty, or you get somebody miss a block, or a back miss a hole or something like that, and it just, sets the offense back. You get behind the chains, and it's hard to get first down and get points on the board. Hopefully we can work on that this offseason and get better and get stronger, and hopefully won't make those same mistakes next year.
And defensively, I think you've stayed in games defensively, played hard. But when you're not able to move the ball as well, you kind of stuck in field positions are a problem, I think, sometimes, and it just kind of snowballs a little bit.
Yeah, football's a team game, and offense, defense, and special teams all have to play together and do things the right way. And unfortunately, we just didn't do that a lot this year. So, hopefully, we got some things that we can build on for next year, and hopefully, we can be better in the upcoming season.
Is that what Coach maybe told his group last night, the other night after the game? It's all about next year now. I mean, let's forget about what happened, learn from our mistakes, and move on.
Well, for us, we played a lot of freshmen and sophomores. Unfortunately, we had to do that. But fortunately for next year, they have game experience, and, it didn't work out how we wanted. But like you said, next year now, the kids got experience. They'll have a year in the weight room. So we're just excited about the future, and we're going to build, and we're going to get it turned around.
I think, Coach, sometimes we look at freshmen and sophomore and go, well, they may be talented, but physically they're not as mature when you're playing against juniors and seniors in high school, mainly because of that weight room situation and the fact that they're playing guys that have been through it all. And it does make it for a struggle, no matter how talented they may be.
Well, you got to think about it. Sometimes you're playing 18, 19-year-old seniors going up against a 14, 15-year-old freshman. That's the difference between almost a grown man and a child. So, just getting in the weight room and getting stronger and, understanding the game more and getting in the film room and understanding your mistakes, but also having the weight program be what it needs to be. I think all that plays a part, and I think it'll make a big difference in the future.
Yeah, and laying that foundation, these guys that you have right now, they are really important to the future of the Laverne program, aren't they? I mean, these guys have stuck with you and have gone through this season, but down the road, when they're older, they're going to be a huge part in the success that you guys build there.
Oh, for sure. We're so excited about our young kids that are playing, and they have a bright future, and I think they're going to do some things at Laverne that, people don't expect, and we're excited to see what they become and what they do, and I think they're excited. They got a lot of experience playing this year. It was unfortunate in the win-loss column, but for them, they got a chance to get on the field, and they got a chance to see, we'll play a freshman. If he's the best that we have, that's who we'll play.
Aaron Pitts is our guest here on the Prentice Heating Air Coaches Corner. I did want to mention all the things that are going on at Laverne, new construction, a new building, basically. All of those things are exciting for these young kids, and I think it's something that attracts students to come to Laverne, which maybe in the past might not have been the case, but you guys are looking at updating facilities and those kind of things. As a lot of it in the big picture, isn't it? It's just more than just X's and O's.
Yeah, I think our administration, I think Dr. Theowana Hatchett does a phenomenal job at our school. She's a great leader. There's a lot of great things happening at Laverne, like you said, with the new addition and, our welding program, and we have some other sports programs that are doing well. I just think our administration does a great job, and I think in the building, the teachers are behind the athletes, and, the coaches are all rooting for each other, and Laverne's a special place. It's on the north end of town, and, sometimes it feels like we're, trying to figure, just wade our way through the water. But, with the administration that we have and the coaches that are in the building, I think everything is going to come together at just the right time.
How did you wind up with Coach Johnson? Now, let's take a little bit of your personal history here and your story.
Well, Coach Johnson and I were college roommates. We both played at MTSU. We were both defensive backs, and I was in coaching for a while, and I got in administration, and then I got back into coaching, and I went to Georgia, and I was a head football coach in Georgia, and I decided to come back to Middle Tennessee area, and I was just teaching again, thinking about going back into administration or coaching, and he called me and asked me would I come and be on his staff and help him try to build something special at Laverne.
That's interesting that the ties that you guys have for such a long period of time, that makes it a lot easier to discuss things and work together in a rebuilding program. That's got to mean a lot that he's got those kind of people confident. I know his son is there as well. That's got to mean a lot to him.
Well, Coach Johnson is a great leader, and I think he has a heart for the community and for the kids. And I think that the vision that he has for Laverne football is, we're unfortunately this year, and I wouldn't even say unfortunate. Sometimes John Maxwell said you have to fail forward. And, it didn't work out how we wanted it to work out, but we got some building blocks, we got some pieces. And I know with his vision and what we're going to do, Laverne won't be down for long. I can promise you that.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but can you give us a couple of players that you're excited about for next year and that you've seen improve over the year? Maybe, and I don't necessarily mean that they're superstars, but I'm saying a couple of guys that you've seen that have really improved that you're looking forward to coaching next year as our SRM Concrete Strong Performers.
Well, I think we had a freshman quarterback get a lot of reps in Deacon Henley, and you try to protect him because he's a young kid, and I think Aaron Samuel's another quarterback, and we have Thomas Dixon, he's a running back, that'll be good. We have some young pieces. Denham Hall plays receiver, has a lot of talent. We have some guys that I think can be special. It's just, you got to give it time. They're freshmen. They got to get in the weight room, and they have to, develop and mature and understand the game better.
It's not a tough league to mature in, is it? I mean, every team you look down there, and like I said, Siegel could probably be number one team in other districts. It's just an amazingly tough district, isn't it?
Well, in this district, you get no weeks off. Everybody can beat you. Everybody plays hard. Everybody's well coached, and everybody's excited to play. You don't get a week where someone's just okay, we're just trying to go through the motions. The coaches in this region does such a great job of preparing their kids and getting them ready for Friday night. So it's definitely a tall task every week, but I think we accept the challenge, and this year we kind of saw what we need to do, and just looking forward to next year.
And as you look forward to next year, I know there's got to be some excitement. I mean, you can breathe a sigh of relief. Well, we made it through this year and relatively healthy, and these kids have learned a lot. But as you go into next year, what did Coach say to them in that last game that to kind of spearhead what's going to happen for next year?
Well, like you said, for us, it was just basically getting through this year. I mean, we wanted to do better, but the things that Coach Johnson just preached, which is the things he preached all year, get in the weight room, get stronger, get bigger, get faster, learn the game, win the community, win in the classroom, win at home, be a good citizen. So all those things are things that we look forward to about this group that's coming up. This year we laid the foundation. They kind of see, what we're expecting, how we practice, what we expect in the weight room, how we expect them to act as citizens in the community. So I think it was a learning experience for everybody. They had to learn us. We had to learn them. And now that we know that, now we get our plan together, and, we're just excited for next year.
And Aaron, I guess you'd like to see more numbers too, wouldn't you? I mean, the more the better. I mean, in terms of depth pieces.
Definitely, always want more numbers. But we're going to coach who comes out there. Obviously, we're going to try to, hopefully some kids will, continue to develop and continue to come out and continue to want to be a part of the Laverne Wolverines. Like I said, I think what's going on at the school is phenomenal, and I think our administration is doing a great job with that. And now it's on us as the football coaches to develop our kids and make them, hopefully we can start winning some games.
Coach Johnson's a real inspiration, isn't he? I mean, just by talking to him, I know he's got a little preacher in him, but I mean, he is a real inspiration. I mean, he's always got a positive outlook on things, and he knew what he was getting into when he got this job. I mean, he knew it was going to be a struggle, but he just carries on and just keeps working hard.
Well, yeah, nobody said it was going to be easy, and that's one thing that we talked about when he accepted the job, and then I accepted the job with him is, it's not going to be easy. We didn't expect that it was going to just walk in and we win the region and win all these games. We know we have to just put our head down and work and continue to try to be the best that we can be at Laverne. Just like his vision says, just head down working.
The good thing is you've got so many young guys. The future's got to look bright because, I mean, you know what you've got, and you've seen some talent out there, and they're just going to get better and better.
Well, we're definitely excited about the future, and I think those guys that, like I said, it was unfortunate this year that they had to play, but fortunately for next year, they will have a year of game experience, and I think everybody's looking forward to it, and I think they're gonna see a different next year.
I think there are going to be some changes in the facility as well. I think in the next couple of years too, and I know that Coach Johnson's working hard at that too as well.
Well, yeah, we definitely. He has a mind that he wants to have things look a certain way, and we want to have the best facilities that we can have and make it, and I think he's doing a great job with that.
Well, he's a good spokesperson for Laverne High School, that's for sure, and you are too, Coach. Appreciate you being on this morning, and good luck next year, and have a good. I guess next thing will be spring practice, won't it? Or I guess.
Yes, sir. We're definitely looking forward to it. We want to get in this weight room for a couple months, and then it'll be spring, and we'll go forward with what we have.
All right, that's Aaron Pitzahay, the assistant football coach at Laverne High School, here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner. This portion of the show brought to you by Lascassas Feed Supply, locally owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, specializing in animal feeds, premium pet foods, farm supplies, and more. We'll be back talking Oakland football when we come back.
Game day is coming, and are you ready to represent the Blue Raiders? At Raider Tees, we've got the largest selection of officially licensed Middle Tennessee gear in town. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, even tailgating essentials. You name it, we've got it. No more searching through random stores. Everything you need is right here at 111 East MTCS Road, right across from MTCS. Get game day ready at Raider Tees. Bigger, better, and go blue.
Pizza, pizza.
You in a hurry for dinner? Well, we've made it even easier to order online at sirpizzatn.com. Tap the location nearest you and begin your carryout or delivery order at sirpizzatn.com. You can choose from our full menu, and we'll take care of the rest. A Queen's Feast is calling my name. Order Murfreesboro's favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com.
Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Ring Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
Craig's Tax Service is located just off Memorial on Heritage Park Drive. You can contact us at 890-2233.
It makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We are proud to support all Rutherford County student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
Since 1989, Franklin's Printworks has been Rutherford County's trusted print partner, delivering high-quality, fast turnaround printing for businesses, organizations, and individuals.
Letterhead, envelopes, business cards, brochures, booklets, all that is still our bread and butter. We do it every day.
Jeff Carlton with Franklin's Printworks.
The needs have evolved for most businesses, and they're looking for a large format capability, or they're looking for a direct mail capability. We're glad to help with those.
Franklin's Printworks, your local printing experts.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450 WGNSsports.com and Big G TV.
And this portion of the Coach's Show brought to you by Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, family owned and operated since 1977. Get the best service with Prentice Allsup Heating and Air online at PrenticeAllsup.com. John Dingens back with you here for the middle portion, and we've got Coach Kevin Creasy on the line here talking some Oakland football. And Coach, congratulations on another region title, but a big win over Riverdale by a score of 35-21. But it wasn't easy, was it?
No. It was everything we had warned our players about. Knew it was a rivalry game, knew we were going to get their best shot. Those guys definitely played well. I thought Riverdale did a great job, and, could have went either way, especially late in the game. But tip of the hat to Riverdale and Coach Krosky. They did a good job. And ultimately, though, we got to tip our hat to our team who fought back. Time and time again, we fought back. We've been behind against Riverdale the last 3 years and fought back and came away with a win.
There were some big moments in that game and some big plays, and by several individuals. A 94-yard kickoff return by Giovanni Malone. That kind of got the game going, a little spicy, and a tremendous run. I mean, talk about following your blockers and following that wedge, and he went right up the middle. It was an amazing run, and I know that got you off to a good start.
Oh, no doubt. And he's a sophomore, but he understands the rivalry, and the message is clear. If you want to, they're always going to beat us in the stretching contest. You know what I mean? They get really excited over there, and their band does a great job of they're loud and proud and playing loud. And we always look, if you want to get those guys a little quiet, let's do something with this opening kickoff. And Gio not only scored, but the last 10 yards, I wasn't a big fan of this, but he gave a little quieting down with his finger, shush signal. And I was like, that's a little overboard, because to Riverdale's credit, they took the next kickoff, bobbled it, and went 92 yards right down the field and scored on us and answered the bell. So we didn't keep the band quiet too long.
It was a fun game to watch. I know it probably on a coaching end of it, but let's talk about the play. This is a controversial play. I think it's fourth down. You're on your own 29. Is that right? Am I correct there?
Yes, sir.
And you went for it. You tried to get them off sides first, then you went for it. What was going through your mind right there? Because I agree with you wholeheartedly. I would have gone for it as well, because you didn't want them touching the ball again if you could keep from it. And this was you had the lead and a crucial fourth and one, and you made it. And but I agreed with you 100% because I don't think I'd want them to get the ball back either.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, that's a gutsy call, great call, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, if it doesn't happen, if the linebacker runs through and makes the tackle, I'm an idiot, so it can go both ways. If it doesn't work, why did he do that? Why did he punt? Why didn't he, give his defense another shot? And so it works both ways. It was one of those deals where, we snap it to our best football player, and he's going to have to make a play. But the biggest part that nobody understands is that we had a kid that didn't dress out. He's been hurt for, 3 or 4 weeks, and, he wanted to play, and we told him that he couldn't. Michael Brown, number 0, he's one of our best football players, and so he's sitting there at halftime trying to talk me into letting him dress out. Of course, I told him, I was like, look, you cannot do this. You can't. I know you want to play. And he's like, it's an emergency situation. I was like, all right, you're going to have to understand we're going to make the playoffs no matter whether you play or not. And so the next thing I know, we're sitting there in the late third quarter, and we're like, all right, well, we got to have a 2-point play. And, out of a certain package, we don't have an eligible receiver because his backup, a sophomore, is a lineman instead of a tight end. And they're like, well, Michael's here. He told us you told him to dress out. And so this dude has gotten dressed and got his bad ankle wrapped. The trainer has wrapped him up, and he's like, Coach, I'm good. I'm good for a few plays anyway. And so the big part is whenever we scored in our I formation on toss sweep, that was the first play he was in. The second play, he was wide open on a 2-point conversion that we eventually threw to Reese Smith. And then he was only in on a third play. He played 3 plays, but it was all on his own. He called his own number, and we ran behind him on 4th and 2. And that's the kind of people you want to run behind on 4th and 2. Michael Brown, put himself, his injury and all that on the line. And like I said, did a lot of it on his own, and it's just gutsy. And so he's a big part of the reason that we converted the 4th down. His block was crucial.
Well, I'm going to make him the SRM Concrete Strong Performer of the game with that result, and I'm glad you told that because I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, you don't read about that in the newspaper a lot, but that guy, he played 3 plays, and all 3 of them were crucial.
You had big plays all night, and I want to mention Dante threw a touchdown pass, added 7 carries for 60 yards, but the go-ahead 43-yard TD run in the fourth quarter kind of clinched it for you, and that was a tremendous run too. I mean, that was weaving in and out. I mean, he made some super moves on that play.
Yeah, Dante is a great football player, great kid to be around. I know he and Coach Kreisky are still tight. They've got a great relationship. He did a great job for Riverdale last couple of years, and we were really happy to get him over here. This guy, he's never wavered from competition. We got Cam Morton, who's a great quarterback as well, and they basically go in every other play. And we had a nice little pass concept where we had a couple guys we felt like were open, and then he pulls it down, which, I'm fine with that too because he made one of the best runs I've ever seen in a tight ball game before. I think it was like 4 people that he made miss on his way to the end zone. And so, props off to him because, this game was special to him, playing a lot of guys that he knew real well and coming out and throwing a touchdown pass, running a touchdown pass. I thought that was huge.
Kamani had a good game. Kamani Bass, 92 total yards. And, boy, when you can get that kind of production from him along with Tut coming in as well, That says a lot for the running game. That really helps. And I do want to mention the offensive line too, because those guys have done it all year long.
Yeah, everybody talks about our young quarterback. They got to understand we have 2 sophomores that are starting on the O-line. We have a junior that's starting. We have a freshman that's one of our best ones. And he's been starting every single game. Trent Gibbs, you're going to hear that name a lot in the future. But we have a senior tight end, Reese Smith, and then we've got a senior center. But that's it. So it's all these young guys. Tyler Eady, as our coach, does a great job with the O-line. And, they opened up some huge holes for Kamani, who weighs in at a whopping 132 pounds. So the hole doesn't have to be too big for him to go through. We run the same play with Craig Tudd at 190 pounds, and it was like a 1-yard gain. So give credit to Kamani for being tough to run inside where all those big guys are. And he's just got a lot of guts and a lot of skill. And so that was like I said, total team effort. Had receivers blocking downfield, had quarterbacks carrying out the fake. So it was a good couple drives. When we had to have a first down, we got it. So there were some big plays.
There sure were. And again, like both sides had big plays. Let's talk defensively here just a minute. Travion Jackson, 9 tackles, 2 sacks. Let's see, Cullen Williams, 9 tackles and a sack. In a game like that, gosh, that's pretty valuable stuff.
Yeah, I think their quarterback is phenomenal. I think he does a great job. I think he's one of the better players we've seen this year. And Newsom was, just dialing it up. And in order to try to cover, 4 receivers, we had to spread it out, and we had a light box a lot of times. And, for Cullen to, almost have double-digit tackles, I thought that was huge. But Trayvon had a great game. His tackles a lot of times were for losses. He had 2 or 3 tackles for loss, and then 2 sacks. You throw that on top of them. They both had a great game. And then, like I said, our DBs, I thought, they had some trouble with those receivers, especially early in the game. Unfortunately, we got to third and extra long, not third and long, third and extra long, over 10 yards. And I think they went like 4 for 4, converting third and 18, third and 23. And so, we've got 3 guys that are safeties back there that are all going to play on Saturdays, and we got to have them make some of those plays. And in the second half, I thought they did. They've got a kid that we were real familiar with, Luke Tritch over there, played for our middle school team last year. He was our best player for the middle school. He's over at Riverdale now, starting on the varsity, and he got a touchdown pass on us. The kid from Loretta, I thought he's really good. I think he's probably their best athlete and their biggest target. He caught a touchdown, when we know they're going to throw it to him, and he catches it anyway. But in the second half, our defense made them have to throw it, to the kid from Rockville. They didn't have a catch. I don't think Tritch or either one had a catch in the second half. So it was one of those deals where, you try to make them play left-handed if they're right-handed, make them play up if they're down, stuff like that. So eventually I thought our DBs kind of played the way we wanted them to play in the first half and made some plays and got off the field on third down instead of letting them convert it.
What an entertaining game. Couple of quick questions here with Coach Creasy from Oakland. One of them real quick. I know you're not going to tell me what you know about Cookeville. You probably haven't looked at it yet, but I know that's your first. It starts all over now. Everybody's got 0-0. Cookeville's been there many, many years.
Oh, yeah. Cookeville, I tell you, man, they got good coaching staff. They do a good job. I like what they do on offense and defense. Of course, I've looked at them. We played on Thursday night, so nowadays you can click on a YouTube channel and you can see a team that you're about to play, whether you traded film or not. I think they got a great thing going. And here's the deal. we know all about Mount Juliet. Mount Juliet probably should have beat us in the second round last year, and they beat Mount Juliet. We know all about Lebanon. We go over, throw with Lebanon 7-on-7 all the time. Chuck Gentry and Chuck and them were 8-1 going into the game and got beat by Cookville last Thursday night. So, when you go in and beat an 8-1 Lebanon team, that gets our attention.
Well, and one final thing. I was watching television, couldn't sleep. My hip replacement, my hip's feeling better, but I'm having trouble sleeping. I get up, turn on the channel, the morning news, and there you are at 6:15 in the morning, introducing the Oakland cheerleaders and the band. Man, that had to be tough getting up that early. Do you get up that early all the time?
Yes. So I don't have hip replacement yet. It's probably coming, but I will say this. The only day that I do try to sleep is game day, and unfortunately, knowing that I had to do that, I woke up at 4 o'clock and just headed on into work. And didn't get a lot of sleep myself, but glad you tuned in. That's one of those deals. We had some people, really happy that it was on TV. So happy so that they didn't come to the ball game, and that's unfortunate. It was one of the worst Battle of the Borough crowds I've ever seen. I mean, I was really, really disappointed. I was a little disappointed in Riverdale. I thought they would have a little bit better, but our crowd was non-existent at times. It was awful, and I'm going to challenge our guys. This team is a heck of a team, but don't expect us to just go in and win every game. It could happen this week. It could be the last time you see the Oakland Patriots play on a Friday night. You better get out, buy your ticket, and come see it in real life. It's a whole lot better in real life. Now, don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with tuning into the radio, but just get a little earbud, put it in, and listen to it online while watching it live. We got to have better support. We got to have more people at the game.
You can do both. That's right. Amen. All right, Coach. That's Kevin Creasy, the head coach of the Oakland Patriots. Good luck next week, Coach. This portion of the show brought to you by Craig's Tax Service, specializing in personal and business tax preparation, financials, and bookkeeping services. Find out more at CraigsTaxService.com.
We're at Rick's Barbecue on Warrior Drive, where, of course, they've got barbecue and smoked chicken, ribs, but they have other favorites.
Our chicken tenders are delicious. We bread them here ourselves. We have so many different kinds of sides, and our nachos are really good and popular. I love the menu. I could literally eat here every day.
Anne Marie Brents at Rick's Barbecue.
We're thankful for the customers. We have a lot of regulars, loyal customers that come in, and when they come in, I already know their order.
Bet you're hungry now. We'll see you at Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive.
It's not just a home or a car. I'm State Farm Agent Celeste Middleton. We see your home and car as the time and memories you put into them. Give me a call at 615-895-2700 and let me help you give them the protection they deserve.
Local business owners, you know how important it is to be here for your customers. I'm State Farm Agent Dana Womack, and I run a small business in Rutherford County too. I'm here to help you protect your small business. Call me at 615-900-0877.
Here's Dave Gober with First Mortgage, a department of First National Bank of Middle Tennessee.
Friday nights are all about football, teamwork, strategy, and moving the ball forward. And when it comes to your mortgage, I bring that same game plan to help you win. Whether it's buying your first home, upgrading, or even refinancing to save big. From first downs to first homes and from refinancing to new beginnings, I'll work with you every step of the way. Call me, Dave Gober, at First Mortgage, and let's open the door to your future.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NLMS 401715.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450, WGNSsports.com, and Big G TV.
And this portion of the show is brought to you by Sir Pizza, whose 3 Murfreesboro locations offer a huge selection of mouth-watering pizzas, sandwiches, pastas, and wings. Order your favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com. wgnsradio.com. Ben Caudell, the head coach of the Stewart's Creek Redhawks, joining me. And it's kind of hard to talk from afar, but here we are. And I know a disappointing loss against Smyrna the other night. Let's talk a little bit, though, before we get to that. Smyrna is a team that has gained momentum, I would think, in the last 4 to 5 weeks. And they're playing at a pretty good pace right now.
Yeah, I think anytime, we play Smyrna, you're going to have to play well. You're going to have to, not lose the game in special teams and make fewer mistakes than the other team. And I thought, we were not able to do that. On Thursday night, we had a punt blocked in the first half. We threw a pick on our side of the field and didn't get lined up correctly on their only touchdown the first 3 quarters. And so, John, in spite of all those things, we still had the game at 10-0 heading into the fourth quarter. We kind of got put in a position where we had to start going for it on fourth down. That kind of allowed them to score a few more late.
The score, yeah. In games like that, the final score doesn't really indicate how close the game was, because you do have to take desperate measures when you're down. Let's talk about the season, really. I know I don't know that I would say it's disappointing. I think you've learned some things. I think your team has gone through a lot of adversity, I guess I would say, terms with injuries and that kind of thing. And they've kind of managed to hold their own, really.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's disappointing to me is just the fact that we had, so many great kids, so many seniors, that, weren't able to finish it on the field. I just think about guys like Ben Cunningham, who's literally, almost been in a body brace, really his entire junior and senior season, that, wasn't able to play last on Thursday night, sustained a injury against Oakland. At the same position, another senior, last week in practice, got hurt and was out for the season. Sam Bello, who had 4 touchdowns against Knox Webb just 2 weeks ago, got a concussion against, Oakland last week. And so, when I look at, the trajectory of our season, I think, to me, we had guys step up, that allowed us to, have success as the season wore on. Obviously, when our quarterback Jerry went down, week 3 against Siegel, that really changed, how we had to operate offensively. Finally we got, John, to the Blackman game where, other than Jerry, we really kind of had everybody healthy. And then really within the first 2.5 quarters of that game, Jamarcus Brown, re-injures his leg and is out for the season. Jaden Stewart, injures his leg and is out for the season. Kingston McQueen, a 2-way guy for us, pulls his hamstring and is out for the season. And so, here we are really, getting to the bye week and really having to totally rethink almost everything that we do. And I think our players deserve, so much credit for the resolve and the resiliency that they showed. And like you said, handling adversity. I think that's something, if you have kids that play sports, you realize, a huge, purpose, I think, in youth sports and in high school sports is it teaches you how to deal with adversity. And I thought this week against Smyrna, we had the best week of practice I think we've had all week. John, it was 10-0. We have about a 6-minute drive to start the third quarter. We get down, a completed pass on the 2-yard line, and Dallas Johnson, one of our junior receivers, extends out and tries to get it, tries to score, and it was a bang-bang play, and I thought his knee was down. Looking at film, I would say it's 50-50 at best that it was a fumble, but, it's 10-0, and we extend the ball to try and score, and it rolls into the end zone, and they call a fumble. And so I think, we would have had a lot of momentum there at 10-7. Their quarterback all night completed 2 passes, one of which was a pop pass on a jet sweep. And so, we really wanted to put the game on their, backup quarterback's hands. And, unfortunately, he really only completed 2 passes. And, so for the most part, I felt like we were able to do that. But, I felt like that call was really, kind of changed the entire complexion of the game. And I think Smyrna deserves a lot of credit for, really being able to win the game, out executing us in special teams, like I said, with the block punt and, being able to run the football, but outside of one run, I thought we did, okay and not allowing them just to win the game in that regard. But, once again, I think, our guys fought and we weren't victims, John. I think that's one thing when you have a few injuries, it's easy to become a victim and find reasons why you can't get the job done. But, that's not what this team was. We fought until the end. The next guy up, definitely stepped up throughout the season. Guys like Braden Brown, Kamarion Hill, Dallas Johnson. We had multiple guys, John, that did not come off the field. Special teams, offense, defense, and, when you play teams that have depth, that really shows up at times. But, really proud of the fight our kids showed, not just Thursday night, but throughout the entire season.
Yeah, we're talking to Ben Condell, the head coach of the Stewart's Creek Redhawks. And Ben, one thing that I noticed, really, and you just mentioned it, a lot of teams could have folded up the tent, and said, gosh, we've had so many injuries. And you as a coaching staff could have said the same thing. You said, well, this is one of those years. But you didn't do that. And you had some wins during that time. And, again, you had some injuries late that kind of cost you, I think. But, wow, I mean, just staying together and fighting hard. You were in every game. And then you had a couple of wins in that length of time too. I know you got to be proud. And I want to talk about the quarterback a little bit too, that the backup did such a good job. And really, I don't think he was expecting that to happen this year.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And John, this is life. It's, high school football is a microcosm of life. And sometimes you work really hard and things go your way and you're playing in the quarterfinals and really only have 1 or 2 guys injured. That was the case last year. And, this year, you work even harder. Your coaches, you prepare and work just as hard. And you're a shell of who you were when you started the season. The first 2 games, we're scoring a whole lot of points. And, the middle of the Siegel game, our quarterback gets hurt. And, middle of Rockville, our running back who had 9 touchdowns in the first 3 games gets hurt. And, you just got to find a way. You got to find a way to persevere. You got to find different and creative things to get the job done. And, you mentioned RC. He's definitely one that, as a junior, John, was thrust into the starting position. And, he played against 4 Rutherford County playoff teams. And I'm just telling you, John, looking at the 6A bracket, some of these schools, if they were in our region, I don't think they even win a game. And here they are, they're playoff teams, in other regions. Cookeville High School, for instance, great high school football program. They lost to Siegel to open the season, and Siegel doesn't even make the playoffs in our region.
Right.
So I think that says a whole lot about, the teams we go up against week in and week out. And, for RC and all these guys to, be put into this position where they've got to, be in a position to start and somewhere that they weren't when the season started. I think that's going to be huge for our program. We graduate, a right tackle that's going to play college football. But, John, I'm telling you, offensively, I think we can be just as good, if not better, at every single spot on offense next year. All of our ball carriers, all the guys that catch the ball for us are coming back. We bring back several linemen, bring a quarterback back now with a lot of experience. And so, if there is any silver lining to, what took place this year, it's that guys were able to really see what it's like to play against, the best teams that 6A has to offer. That just coincidentally happened to be just inside our county.
I know the locker room probably. I know what you said to them, and I know it's got to be tough, but yet I know you're very, very proud of them. What did you say in terms of next year, or did you mention anything about next year? Because I know they're going to want to get started pretty quick after this year. They're going to want to get going, and I think they're going to have a lot of purpose.
Yeah, I believe you're correct in saying that. To me, when your season does come to an end, I try to make it all about the seniors, and what they've done and how much they've poured into, what we've been able to do. and to me, until we will begin lifting and doing things to prepare for next year, here pretty quickly. But to me, really, until we have our end of the season banquet and awards night, I try to really monitor that balance, I think, as a coach, and honoring those guys that have really just given you everything they got, poured their heart and soul into your program. And so to me, I think that's the balance you got to have as a coach there in the final moments and the final time you really get to address them all with your pads on.
Well, Coach, good luck next year. I'm looking forward to seeing the Stewart's Creek Redhawks. I know it didn't go as you wanted it to go, but gosh, you guys showed a lot of heart and a lot of courage, and congratulations to you and your coaching staff on a great job.
Yeah, John, I appreciate it. Really excited to, once again here turn the page and go meet with Dr. Harrell here this coming week about something I'm really excited about that can be big for our program. And, I think we learned a lot, as leaders, as coaches this year, and we've got to get back to work, and we've also got to honor a group that's really done a lot for our program, and really proud to be a Red Hawk, really proud of the support that we've always had with all the parts that come together and make Stewart's Creek a very special place with great leadership. Dr. Harrell, Todd Harris, our game day administrator, is second to none. Our athletic director, Jeff Mitchell, and how he supports us. He's coached football. He understands, what we need and how to support us. Our band with, our directors, Chester and Burton, and our cheer and everybody that just comes together. And sometimes you just think it's about football, but John, as a former principal, a lot of things go to make it, what it is and make it special. And those are all people that mean a lot to me, mean a lot to our community and our school. And I want to thank them one last time, and also thank you guys for your coverage and your support, and for how much y'all value high school athletics. Really means a lot to me to know that, we're in a community where this is a big deal. And I want to thank you guys as well for the last time this season.
Appreciate it, Ben, and I'm going to look forward to seeing you and your kids a little bit older next year. They'll be just a little older, won't they?
Yes, sir. I hope you get healed up as well, John. It's good to see you this morning.
Hoping to also as well. That's Ben Caudill, the head coach of the Stewart's Creek Redhawks. This portion of the show brought to you by State Farm agents Andy Womack, Dana Womack, Celeste Middleton, Alex Williams, Ron Reeves, and Emerson Williams. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. We'll be back talking Rockville football when we get back.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Experts in joint, bones, and muscles. And with over 65 specialists, TOA has a playbook to get you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA. Live your best life.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
This is a paid legal ad.
You've probably heard it a million times. If you're injured, call a lawyer. And you probably haven't because you don't know how much it will cost, how long it will take, or even if you have a case. At the law offices of John Day, we provide a free initial consultation because we understand that folks don't want to pay a lawyer only to find out they don't have a case. If you think we can help, we do so on a contingency basis, which means we only get paid if you do. Seriously injured? Call me, John Day.
Hello, this is Coy Young at Las Casas Feed Supply. We'd like to welcome you to our door.
I'm Ian Young. I'm at Las Casas Feed Supply. I'm selling beef and pork, 100% Angus, raised here in Las Casas. Come get you some.
Everyone's favorite cuts available, even options to purchase a quarter of a steer.
We got the beef. Hello, everybody. Las Casas Feed Supply.
Family owned and operated, Las Casas Feed Supply on Barlow Lane, just off Highway 96 East.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450 WGNSsports.com and Big G TV.
And this portion of the show brought to you by Ideas Tees, who will be happy to help you fulfill all of your imprinted apparel, embroidery, and advertising specialty needs. Find out more at ideastees.com. John Ding is back with you for my final interview today, and we've got Coach James Counts, the head coach of the Rockville Rockets. And, Coach, not the way you wanted to end the season, but we're going to talk about some good positives along the way anyway, but it faced a pretty good Blackman team.
Yes, sir, we did. And, obviously that's not the way we wanted it to end, but, I don't think any of us were ready for it to be over with, but, that is what it is. But yeah, we've come a long way, did a lot of things in a short period of time, and got it all rolling in the right direction. We just got to keep taking steps.
That was a game where Blackman took advantages of some mistakes, and I know there were quick scores. I think they scored 2 touchdowns in a minute's time. That's hard to come back from that, isn't it? I mean, when it happens that fast.
It is, and it puts you kind of out of what you wanted to do going into the game, and it kind of changes the direction, and that you're trying to do things offensively, and puts a little pressure on you, and that's part of the game, and being able to work through that, and the ball bounced your way, it's just one of those things, and that didn't work out for us.
We were talking in this region. The fact that you were fighting for a playoff spot is pretty complimentary in itself, because this league is just brutal. I mean, we've got so many good teams in it.
Absolutely. You got me still?
Yeah, I've got you.
Okay, I thought I lost you.
I thought I lost you too.
It is. No, sir. It's and obviously that's not, we were wanting to do more, and as we all do, and the things that I'm used to doing, and that's moral victories and things like that in the big scheme of things, and where we are in the development. You have to look at those things, because it kind of shows you if you're working in the right direction or not. And from those kind of things that we've had throughout the season, and the way that we've responded to adversity and those kind of things, I definitely feel like we're headed in the right direction. And it's just we got to continue to, our standards are standards, and there's not non-negotiables and those kind of things, and it's all, it's headed in the right direction.
Well, let me talk to you about a couple of those guys that are gearing you in that right direction. Melvin Boone, 5 tackles and a sack. Chia had 6 receptions for 82 yards and a touchdown, while adding a 21-yard carry. Chia, for one thing, he's a special player.
And there's one thing about both of those young men that you talk about, or that needs to be talked about, that both of them have. And, and it's that work ethic. It's that hunger. It's the desire to do things the right way when nobody's watching. What are you doing in the dark? Differently from what you do when people got eyes on you. And those two right there are grinders. And, and I think that, I don't know what these college coaches are looking at, but whoever gets those young men right there, their program will definitely be better just because they're there. I call them low maintenance kind of kids. They do what they're supposed to do. You ain't got to worry about them. They're going to be where they're supposed to be, and they're going to do things the right way. And they definitely are two guys that represent, what we, what our standards are at Rockville. They represent that fully.
Coach Counts is our guest here on the Prentice Orthopedic Coach's Corner. Coach, I guess what I'm going to ask you is there are two things there's positives and there are negatives. Tell me what you thought was a positive in your direction, and then maybe some things that you feel like you need to work on for next year.
Well, I think, just quickly looking at it, I think that, the maturity, the amount of growth, that we had in the locker room, playing for each other, doing things the right way for one another, handling our business in the classroom, which I feel like is a direct reflection of what you're going to put on the field. It's like I tell our guys, our locker room is a direct reflection of us. And, if I'm messy in the locker room, then I'm probably not going to be as detailed in my performance as I need to be. And those are the kind of things that I think throughout the year, we have worked on. I think that our guys have learned how to fight, grind, snap after snap, working towards, we had some games early on that we might have had it in control, and then we let it slip back, and then we couldn't get it. But then later on in the year, we had those kind of games that we had found a way to win. And I think those are the positive things. And I think that our young men, we're still, we're younger than a lot of these other teams. We got 46 sophomores. Got a lot of those kids playing this year that are sophomores that hadn't had a whole lot of game reps. So as we had to go through the year, those guys got better. So I think we're going to have, a positive thing is we've got our standards in place. Guys know how I'm going to come to work every day. And then we got, a desire for each other requires us to work a little harder and hold each other to our standards. That's one thing I think we got in place. And then I think about all the youngsters that we have that we've got to play. And, just like, RC got how many catches? He had 75 catches, something like that this year.
Yeah.
So, guys like that, getting the reps, getting the game film, and knowing that, the opportunities are there, and then having guys that are going to be, we've got for 2 more years. They got every snap, this year.
I think there'd be a lot of coaches that would tell you they didn't want to play you. I think you have set that standard a little bit. You were a very scary team, and I think you're looking for a little bit more consistency next year too in all phases of the game. I think that would be something because, there were times that you all were really, really tough, and I think you want to see more of that than the other, right?
Absolutely. We wanted to change the way people looked at us, and we're not a pushover, and we're going to try to do things right. And I think that in year one in the region that we're in, I think that speaks a lot, for our kids and our coaches.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a tough league, I'm telling you. But I think Rockville's in good hands, and I know you're looking forward to next year. I bet they're already in the weight room, aren't they? They probably already started. Or did you ever leave?
Well, we worked out throughout the season, but then it's kind of more of a maintain and trying to keep kids healthy and that kind of stuff. But we did the what I don't like to do, the counting knee pads and those kind of things. We got that started, and then we're gonna get in the weight room Monday and get started for next year.
Let those sophomores be big juniors, right?
That's right. That's right.
Coach, it's been a pleasure all year talking to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next year, and hope we'll have a lot more wins to talk about too.
I do too, and I appreciate you guys and what you guys do for high school football.
All right, that's James Counts, the head coach of the Rockville Rockets. This portion is brought to you by Dan France Concrete. My friend Dan, a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan France Concrete. We'll be back with more here coming up.
Is your saving for retirement strategy involving the phrase, "I'll get around to it someday"? If so, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin, and when it comes to meeting your goals, time can be on your side, and there's no better time than now to get started towards your retirement goals. Give us a call, Lee Colvin, at 615-907-7056. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Insurance should be simple, not complicated. That's why at Rayburn Insurance, Agent Rick Hull cuts through the jargon and helps you understand your options clearly. He's committed to finding the right coverage that fits your unique needs and budget. Their team has been a trusted partner in the community since 1973. Ready to make insurance easy? Get with Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency. He's ready to help you get the protection you deserve.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom designed jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
From ASE certified mechanics and master mechanics. Check them out online at autorepairsmyrna.com. And the Coaches Show returns with Siegel head coach Adam Renshaw. How are you doing this morning, Coach?
I'm good.
Stars coming off a good 27 to 6 win over Laverne this Friday or this Thursday night.
Yeah. Tough to get used to, isn't it? I was honestly, last night I was asleep by 8:30. I can't tell you a Friday night that I've been asleep by 8:30 in the fall in a long time.
Yeah, that's it was different for everybody on playing on that Thursday night. But you know, how did you like that? I know obviously you avoided Halloween for a lot of the families, the kids that had trick or treating and other activities. But
yeah, well, you know, it's this was mandated by TSSAA for us, and so just kind of odd circumstances. I think, of course, I think generally teams try to avoid playing on Halloween night, but you only have to deal with that every 6 or 7 years, and so. But no, I mean, we're used to getting ready on a short week. A lot of distractions this week, a lot of things going on. It was senior night for us all week. We knew this was going to be our last game, so a lot of emotions, a lot of things going on. And, at times we played really well Thursday night, and then at times, man, I'm like, who are these kids out here?
But, y'all really came on in the last couple of weeks, the really tough loss in a really competitive game against Blackman, and then ending on a great note, 27-6, in the seniors out victorious.
Yeah, well, we got great seniors. I tell them all the time, this is one of my favorite senior classes. been doing this 27 years now, and this group stands out in their character. It stands out in their integrity, and just as far as superstar athletes, the senior class, maybe not a ton of those, but I called them in and talked to a few of them last week. I mean, these guys are going to be awesome humans, awesome adults in our community, and I'll probably. My kids will probably be asking them for a job one day.
Yeah. Yes. And that's the great thing about it. Kids like that, they're going to be great and they're going to do great things.
Yes, no doubt about it. And, you take, I've made fun of a couple of guys on our team, Bryson Green and Demario Heron, for a number of years, telling them, they're Mr. SHS, but they probably won't allow the other one to get it. One's going to take votes from the other one, but
cancel each other out.
Yeah, exactly. But just super personalities and super leadership skills, especially for young men.
Well, let's talk about a couple of your players from the other night. Quentin Carson, he had a 14-yard touchdown run and 3 touchdown passes. And he is our SRM Concrete Solid Performer, locally grown, nationally known SRM Concrete.
Yeah, now Quentin, again, Quentin has some dynamic ability. I think, his biggest attribute is he sees the field really well. He doesn't panic, and again, just made several plays during the game. We thought in the second quarter there we had a shot to, there was a kickoff fumble that if we could have recovered, it would have helped blow the game out, and a few plays we could have made right there, and but I thought Quentin played really well. He really has given us a spark in there.
Yeah, and another kid that's been really a workhorse for you this year, and one of your leaders, Drew Hostaler, another good night, 2 touchdown catches, including a 38-yarder.
Oh yeah, I think I was talking to Drew earlier this week. He's going to leave. He's had 3 good years as a receiver at Siegel High School. He's going to have almost, I think, nearly 60 receptions as a high school player. Tremendous high school career, and he's going to leave Cleveland. He's going to leave as the all-time leading kickoff returner for Siegel High School. And so, and a tremendous young man. I had the opportunity to have him in class the first term. Very intelligent guy, asks a ton of questions in class, really seeks to understand things. And so, Drew, been really important to our program.
Yeah, and, I think you told me a couple weeks ago you have over 20 seniors this year. What a great class. And, going out on a good note.
Yeah, well, another kid that probably fits that note that I've got in class right now, Braylon Albee. That's
this forest is eerie and suspicious. Watch out for ambushes.
Had to fight through some nagging injuries last year, and really worked hard in the off season. Got faster, got bigger, got stronger, and then this year was just another workhorse for us. I was telling him yesterday. I mean, he has this knack for getting near the sideline and kind of cutting back and getting a few more yards and never really taking a big hit, just kind of slithering down the sideline. And just watching his game develop over the last couple of years has been really outstanding.
Yeah, he was one of my favorites to watch this year. Really enjoyed watching Albee run the football. You got a lot of kids coming back too, and the future looks bright here for Siegel football. And what do you tell your guys that are your underclassmen that'll be back for you?
Oh well, I think. And what we told them at the end of Thursday night was, we were relevant this year. People were talking about us, and we made some plays. We won some games early, and I think our next deal is to take it a step farther. I think Princeton Uefa, who's going to be a senior next year, he has several offers, and I mean he was a mainstay for us this year, a workhorse that he was a big deal. And so we expect him to grow in leadership and take over leadership up front and help us there. And of course, Quentin Carson that we talked about earlier, the last few weeks have been big for him. There's lots of things he needs to get better at, he knows, but he's also dynamic and has that calmness under pressure that we think can be big for us next year.
Yeah, and one of the staples that I saw from your program this year is your defense. Your defense brought it every single week, and you you got to be really proud of those guys. And I know you got some of those guys coming back. Some of them you're going to graduate, but you want to talk a little bit about your defensive side.
Well, one guy that's coming back is Keith Morrell. And I mean, doesn't say a whole lot. Kind of a quiet kid. Coach Baker identified him early in practice this year, and man, he fought and did a great job this year. Really proud of that kid, and he'll be one we'll be asking to grow in a leadership role also. But our defensive coaches work really hard, and we're not the biggest group, we're not the fastest group, but I would put our tenacity up there with anybody.
Oh, no doubt about that. I really enjoyed watching your group this season. One other bit of Siegel news that came across this week is your Principal Creasy going to move into a role with the county. I know he's been a big supporter for all athletics over there and everybody over at Siegel High School. I know he's going to be missed, but he's one of the best ones.
Oh, no doubt. And just want to thank Mr. Creasy for bringing me in and giving me this opportunity with his football team. I mean, he's an outstanding leader. The best thing about Mr. Creasy is exactly where you stand with him. There's never no hidden agendas or anything like. He's super competitive. He wants to win at everything he does. And I can't imagine a better principal to work for, especially coming in our situation at Siegel. And he's just been outstanding to me.
Yeah, and he is one of the best ones. I'm really, really proud for his promotion for that. But getting back to this year, Siegel Nation's always coming out, always supporting. I know they were supportive all year. And you want to talk a little bit more about the Siegel Nation?
Oh yeah, well we had huge student sections the last two home games, and it was really look, our students at Siegel High School are the best. We're lucky. I monitor the hall almost every morning, and I mean, just shaking those kids' hands and being around those kids. And, our mission statement for Siegel High School football is developing quality men. Well, honestly, we have great moms and dads at Siegel High School, and it makes my job so much easier. And the student body has shown a ton of support. The band has shown a ton of support. Our cheerleaders and dance team, they're all awesome. And the sponsors and leaders of those programs are amazing also. So I'm just lucky to work with a lot of great people.
Yeah, it's a great school, great community, great people there, great administration running it over there. And, I know you talked a little bit about it. You were talking about the kids returning next year. You were this close to being in the playoffs this year. When thing goes here or there, you're playing next week. What do you think you need to do? When for the off season, when do y'all start kind of getting back going and all that kind of stuff to try to get to that, that next step, that one more victory that you were just short of this year?
Yeah, well, I think I think you mentioned it right there. We were very close. Honestly, it's a little bitter to me. Still trying to digest that. So I think the first step is we need to evaluate everything. Offense, defense, special teams. We're going to evaluate everything we do in our weight program, in our conditioning program. We're going to evaluate our culture. But, that being said, we got a lot of great kids, and we'll take a little time off to do that evaluation and meet. But at the same time, it's on to next year. I told them yesterday that the 2027 class, they're now seniors in our football program, and it's time to roll.
Yeah, and it's going to be here before you know it. We know there are special days around the corner for the Siegel football program, and Coach, we've really enjoyed having you this year, and we wish you good luck.
No, thank you guys so much. WGNS and what you guys do for high school football is amazing. I've never seen, I've been coaching a while, and what you guys do in this community is tremendous. High school football is important, and I'm glad Murfreesboro and WGNS realizes that.
Well, we appreciate you, Coach, and like I said, look forward to seeing you next season. That is Siegel head coach Adam Renshaw. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric, serving our community by providing affordable, reliable, and safe electricity. Online at mte.com.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
We fulfill all your tax preparation needs from individual returns to corporations and handle any of those scary letters you may get from the IRS.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we're committed to providing local car owners with top-notch auto repair services. With over 2 decades of experience, our ASC certified master technicians are experts in both foreign and domestic vehicles, ensuring accurate diagnosis and timely, cost-effective repairs. From oil changes to major engine and transmission repairs, we've got the cure for your car. Dr. Automotive, keeping your car running smoothly, mile after mile. Visit our website, smyrnaautorepair.com.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at TOA.com. And we're returning to the Coaches Show, and we are joined this morning by Eagleville head coach Floyd Walker. How you doing this morning, Coach?
Man, I'm all right, brother. How about you, man?
Man, doing good, doing good. I know it was a tough one last night, 20-7 loss to Fayetteville, and I know that's always a tough trip in a close game, but got playoffs on the horizon.
Yeah, we got playoffs on the horizon, and like you said, it was a tough loss. I mean, I thought our kids did some things well. I mean, it just wasn't our night. We just too many self-inflicted wounds, and we just really didn't do a good job of executing at a high level. And the credit goes to Fayetteville City. Their kids came out, were physical, were athletic, kind of executed their game plan a little bit better than we did ours, and we got the outcome that we got.
Well, it's always you get into week 11 and you have a chance for a home game and you want it. But it gives you some, going on the road last week, it's going to prepare you for this week. You're going to make the trip to McEwen and some exciting things coming.
It is some exciting things coming, and that's the great part about the position that we were in. Even though it was not, we didn't come out on the winning side of things. It didn't end our season. Over half the teams in the state season is over with, but we get to continue with an opportunity to try to chase for a gold ball. So we've allowed ourselves to be put in that position, and now we just need to go out and prepare and take advantage of it.
Yeah, and, individually last night it looked like Jonathan Jordan had another good game last night for you. 6 tackles, interception, had a block kick,
right,
and a rushing touchdown for you last night.
He did a little bit of everything for us last night, and he's done extremely well all season long. And I mean, I can't say enough about the way that he's performed his senior year, and hopefully he'll have several more games to keep on doing the same type of stuff.
Yeah, and obviously you've had a really, really good season this year, and some of your defensive leaders last night. Grant Cooper, 7 tackles. Jonathan Jordan, like we just said, had 6 tackles, an interception, and a block kick. And your defense this year has been really strong for you all year, and how do you feel about your defensive side of the ball heading into the playoffs?
I mean, I thought our defense kept us in the ball game most of the night last night. We gave them a short field a couple of times. We threw an interception, and I think that may have been inside our own 20 or on 30-yard line, and Fayetteville City was able to convert on that. But our defense has done a tremendous job of being consistent and keeping us in ball games and keeping the score down and giving us an opportunity to win ball games.
Yeah, and it's just another great run for your group. Going into this playoff, what's your mindset this week? What's the week look like for the Eagles as we, enter the playoffs?
The big thing you got to do is you got to get over this loss, and it's coach speak, but you cannot let one loss cost another loss. You can't hold on to it. You'll get through it this weekend, but on Monday when we roll out for practice, this game's got to be behind us. We won't watch this on Monday as a team. We'll get into McEwen, and we'll go to work from there.
Yeah, and you were on a normal week. A lot of the other teams in Rutherford County last night or this week played on Thursday, but you kept it on regular schedule, and that's probably going to help you going into playoffs. You're just in a normal routine. You just get right back to it on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing about it is our place is, as long as we have good weather and we can get outside and we can get our work done, we'll stay on that normal routine. And sometimes another, being at a 1A school and severe weather comes in and you got to share facilities with all the other sports that take place at Eagle. You kind of have to change things around and get out of your comfort zone. But our kids have done a good job of handling that over the years. It's not like it's just something that popped on the radar this year, but it's always been something that was been a challenge for us. But our kids, like I said before, they handle it well, and hopefully we'll I think right now the weather report is everything's supposed to be nice and cool and sunny all week long, so we should be able to get our work in.
Well, that's good. And just looking at your bracket here, it looks like you're going to open against 5-4 McEwen,
right.
And I don't know how much you know about them so far, but what are your early thoughts?
I don't know much about them, but the only thing that I know about McEwen is that their head coach Cecil Andrews and I both played at MTSU back in the 80s, so it'll be neat
downright
to see Cecil.
creepy.
I hadn't seen
Watch
him
your step.
in several years.
What's your plan if those bats swarm you?
I know Cecil will have a well-coached football team. I know that they'll be physical. He was an offensive lineman, so I know they'll want to try to run the ball in some form or fashion, or whether it's under center with multiple tight ends or multiple backs, or if he'll try to spread it out. But I know running the football will be a big part of his game plan.
Yeah, and then your pod, and obviously you don't look past the first round, but you're matched up with Memphis Middle College and Humboldt, and so there may be some road warrior Eagles for the next couple of weeks in the playoffs, and it's exciting. I know the kids would love that.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter where you play. If you're a competitor, Coach Donald used to say, if you like playing, you'll play on second and broad if you had to. So that's one of those deals. You got an opportunity, and what we do with those opportunities is totally up to us. So we look forward to the challenge. We look forward to the trips, and we look forward to trying to see if we can chase this thing.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit early on about your defense. Obviously, they've been the staple most of the year. How do you feel about your offense heading into the playoffs? And you've done some really good things on that side of the ball too.
We've done some good things, but there's still some things that we've got to clean up. We cannot have what we call self-inflicted wounds. You cannot have false starts, and we had multiple ones last night, and that's just not focusing in and not paying attention. So we got to get locked back in from that standpoint. We got to eliminate the controls. You can control not false starting, because offensive huddle, they know the snap count. If you're a wide receiver, you see the ball, you don't worry about the snap count. So those are some things we just got to go back to cleaning up and making sure that we're paying attention to the smallest of details.
Yeah, and one thing I've noticed, especially week 9, week 10, week 11, the officiating they're really tightening down on how you line up, false starts. The two games that I had this week, both of them had a lot of penalties for false starts and alignment issues. And I know that's an emphasis TOSAA has on their officials. So we got to be. That makes it even more. So you got to be on the same page.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to clean it up, especially in playoff football, because penalties will get you eliminated quickly, and that's the number one thing. If you can eliminate the penalties that you can control, that gives you an advantage. So we've got to really concentrate on that this week.
Yeah, and one of the other side, the third side of the ball, the special teams. Has also been a pretty good job for y'all this year, and how do you feel about that going into?
I mean, the big thing is that everybody's healthy. That's it, because, when you play 1A, all kids play on offense, defense, and all special teams. And as long as you're healthy and you don't have to start moving pieces around and subbing different cats around, then your special teams are going to be solid. We've done a good job as far as kick coverages. We've done a good job as far as kick returns. We've done a good job of subbing in when it's time to get into special teams. We just got to continue to be consistent in that area.
Yeah, and obviously one of the things that's always been a staple of Eagleville is your Eagle fans, and they travel really well. And I'm sure they were there last night, and I know they're going to be excited for this playoff run.
They will. I mean, again, we've always talked about our community, and our community is phenomenal. Well, you can't ask for better support, better encouragement, and we want to make sure that we represent them in a first-class fashion always.
Yeah, and you always have, and we have no, you're going to do it again this week and on this run. Kind of the new format that they've gone to in the playoffs. What are your thoughts on it? What do you think about it? I know obviously it's going to be more travel for teams earlier in the playoffs, and what do you think overall about?
Well, my concern about it was. It's like everything else. When you start talking about your smaller classifications, your 1As, your 2As that are so spread out in all the different rural communities, the travel becomes extremely expensive.
Yes.
And it's one of those situations to where it's not like you're just going to go 30 minutes to another county or, 20 minutes across town. It's one of those deals to where you're going to either be an hour and a half to 3 hours. So I think if you look ahead on ours, if things fall right, if we win and some other team wins, there's a possibility we could end up in Memphis in 2 weeks. So it's one of those type of deals. You may be going back and forth from Eagleville to Memphis. So from that standpoint, we haven't gone through it. This is the first year of it, so I'm really not sure how I'm gonna like it. We'll do the best we can as far as making sure that we adjust to it. But the fact that we have an opportunity to at least get in the first round and see if we can get a trip to some other place, then we're excited about that.
Yeah, it's exciting. Obviously the travel part of it is tough and it can be expensive.
Right.
But the opportunity to play, your 11th game of the season, or and you're only guaranteed 4 more quarters.
Yep.
And it's an exciting opportunity for the Eagles.
Oh, it is, and that's the thing these kids all need to understand, especially the senior group, is that now you're playing, to play another game with your teammates, because when it's over, it's over. If right, you were a freshman or from the very first time you put on a helmet. And the reality is that's the last time you're going to do it. So it's one of those situations where you need to make sure that you're locked in and that you don't want it to end on that particular night.
Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck next week at McEwen and have a long playoff run.
Well, we appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for everything y'all do for Eagleville and for high school athletics.
All right, that's Eagleville head coach Floyd Walker. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Parks Auction Company. Let their team of experienced and professionally trained staff utilize the auction process to sell your property. Find out more at parksauction.com.
For 27 years, Kenneth Barrett has proudly served the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office and now asks for your vote for sheriff. He started at age 20 as a detention officer, working his way through patrol, narcotics, and interstate crime operations. He's led specialized teams while keeping transparency and fairness at the forefront. Kenneth Barrett as sheriff means proven leadership you can trust to keep our community safe.
I'm Kenneth Barrett, running for Rutherford County Sheriff. I'd appreciate your vote.
Paid for by Kenneth Barrett for Sheriff, Treasurer Jan Stewart.
It's time to talk about Middle Tennessee Christian School sports. It's MTCS Cougar Corner, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. Each week we sit down with the coaches to recap the latest games and preview what's ahead. It's time to talk about the orange and white on MTCS Cougar Corner, right here on WGNS and Big G TV. Stay tuned, the show is coming up right after this message from our sponsors.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
People love to see us on the schedule when they have a home game because our fans show up.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
The way we travel is just phenomenal. Our parents and our community are fully engaged in our school. When we compete, we're trying to do it in a way that honors God. We want to win. We also want to do it in a way that pleases Him.
Providing Christian values and academic excellence in a nurturing environment. That's Middle Tennessee Christian School. Invest in the future of your child. Find out more at mtcscougars.org.
Genesee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Here's Dr. Russell McKissick with TOA.
We have a passion here for taking care of our athletes here in Rutherford County. We really do our best to take care of them.
Experts in joint, bones, and muscles.
Many years we've been taking care of athletes around here, and we've just picked up where Dr. John started, and we just keep going.
TOA has a playbook that gets you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. TOA, live your best life.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
We're going to be an educational institution that teach Bible every day. Every subject we teach, we're going to teach through a biblical perspective. In every aspect of our school, we're going to do it through a Christian perspective.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
That also means that everything we do, we have to be excellent. We feel like Christ calls us to excellence. And so that means we have to be excellent academically. That means we have to be excellent athletically because that's what God calls us to. It's a great place to be.
Invest in your child's future in an environment that fosters Christ-centered values. To find out more, visit mtcscougars.org.
We're back for MTCS Cougar Corner, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance and fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at TOA.com. And the Coaches Show is back, and we welcome in MTCS football coach Christian Peterson this morning. How you doing this morning, Coach?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Doing okay. It was a region championship on the line. It was a really good fought game last night. Unfortunately, on the wrong end of it last night. But I mean, it was a lot closer game than the final score would indicate.
Yeah. I thought for the first two quarters we played well enough to win the game. Was really proud of how we came out and executed in the first half. Thought we were able to dictate the game a little bit. In the second half we just made some uncharacteristic mistakes, some things that we really hadn't done. The last 2 weeks of practice, like we've been doing some things really well, and you can't have those self-inflicted wounds in those kind of games. You've got to be able to stay ahead of the chains and put yourself in a good spot. And, offensively, I thought we got ourselves behind the chains too many times. I thought defensively, we let them extend some drives that we had stops on, and, things like that. You start adding those up throughout, and, that can be a difference in a ball game.
Yeah, and it was just a great night, great atmosphere. It was packed on both sides, and one of the plays that stood out to me, I feel like you had really good momentum going into the half. You go for it right there, right before the half, and you punch it in to take the lead going into the break.
Yeah, I think our kids never flinched. They knew that we were going to go. We were going to go for it on fourth down there. We were going to try and punch it in, and try and steal that momentum going into half. And, our kids were excited to go for it, excited for the opportunity. And, they executed well. Like I said, going into break, I felt really good about where we were. We just got to play a better second half.
Yeah, and just really a play here, a play there. I mean, it's a one possession game, 5 minutes to go in the game, and one thing goes differently. You're going to come out on top of that game last night.
Yeah, normally I'll sit back and watch the film that night. We'll sit down and we'll watch it. We'll watch it today. But I'm sure we're gonna go back and look and see a play here, play there, where we extend a drive, we get some points, we get a stop. Credit them, they made some plays. They had receivers made some plays, quarterback made some plays, running backs ran hard for them. I think our D line played well all night. Thought our linebackers flew the ball well. I thought our DBs did a good job keeping things in front of them for the most part. We wanted to make them drive the ball down the field, and I think we were successful in that. Offensively, I think in the first half, I think up front, we really controlled the game. In the second half, I think we just made some uncharacteristic mistakes, some things that, we didn't do in the first half, credit them. They
this
practice
storm
too.
is wild.
They're kids.
It's like a battle zone.
They have a very senior
How
heavy
will you
team.
tackle those lightning strikes?
And their seniors made some plays. But at the end of the day, we put ourselves in a position to compete for a region championship. We've put ourselves in a position to host a first round playoff game, and now it's about turning the page and getting into the second part of the season, right? And nothing that happened before right now matters anymore.
Exactly right. And before we look ahead, talk about a couple of the individual performances last night. Really impressed with the run-in of Ali Ben-Gira and Riley Brown last night for your team.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll start with Riley. I thought the start of the game, he had two really big runs there on that first drive that really kind of get us going. We were backed up on that first one, and we don't get points, but it allows us to change the field position a little bit. Really proud of how he ran. Did a really good job all night. And then, Ali's been a constant for us. He played really, really well on both sides of the ball. Gets an interception on defense, came down, made some tackles. He ran the ball well. Again, I think it's a testament to our O-line. I thought they did a really good job. And I think there's a lot of positives in it. It's one of those things where it's going to hurt for a little bit. These games, these rivalry games, you want to win it, but you want to make sure that one loss doesn't become two.
Yes.
Don't let it affect the next week.
Yeah, and defensively, I was really impressed with your defense. Your defense really, stoned them a couple of times inside the red zone. Got a couple turnovers, like you were talking about Ben-Gira getting the interception. I was really impressed with your defense, really the whole night last night. Really kept you in the game. And a couple of kids that I just want to mention. Eric Bowling had 13 tackles last night, and Landry Mason also had 10 tackles last night.
Yeah, not very often you have a defensive tackle end up with 10 tackles. I thought he played his best game. Another one of those sophomores we have that the future is very, very bright for him. I think him and Roy inside, Roy Culberson, another sophomore for us. I think both of them have the opportunity to be big-time players. And we've watched them kind of grow throughout the season. And so, I was really happy for Landry to see all the hard work he's put in pay off. Eric, kind of our senior leader there on defense, he's been Mr. Consistent. I think he's up around 95 tackles in 8 games. Has 4 interceptions, a couple sacks, forced fumbles. He's done it all. And he's only in his second year ever playing football.
Wow.
And so, the growth that he's gone through in 2 years has been fun to watch, and just the development piece. And then, Cooper Jones, another one of our sophomores, I thought he flew around, thought he made some plays, was physical. I think you kind of look at it and go, we're going in the right direction, but we're not where we want to be yet. And the good news of it is, we've played well. Our body of work for the season has put us in a position to host a playoff game. And then, at this point, again, now it's time to lock in. Now it's win or go home. Now we get to go and play a home playoff game, and hopefully get to go on the road again and go and try and make a run at this thing.
Yeah, and one other person I want to kind of mention a little bit before we get into playoffs and next week and that kind of stuff was Marlo Nichols. I thought Marlo did a really good job of running your offense last night. You got a lot of shifts and movement, which I really love watching your offense. it's unique and it's hard to defend, and it really gives yourself a really good chance to get yardage every time you snap the ball. But I really was impressed with how Marlowe ran the offense last night.
Absolutely. He's another one. I mean, the sky's the limit for him. You know, he's a freak athlete. He's got a rocket attached to his arm. You know, he can do it all. You know, I think he continues to get better. I think, I mean, there's going to be a point where people look out on the field and he's got the opportunity to be the best player on the field. You know, he's another one that, and he'll tell you he's not where he wants to be right now. But I think he's trending in the right direction. I think, you know, practices are getting more consistent. You know, and it might not always show up on the stat sheet right now, but, you know, as a coaching staff, we feel better and better each week, with where he's at. And, you know, I think he's put himself in a position to grow throughout this postseason and then get into the off season and really have a big year.
You know, and you mentioned it earlier, you know, now you turn the page. Now you're in the second season. Now you're in the playoffs, and not only in the playoffs, you get to host a game this week, which is really exciting, and I think that'll be easier for your guys to turn the page.
Yeah, I think, you know, again, we talked about it. You know, we don't allow this loss to leak into next week. You know, it's gonna hurt. You're gonna be mad. You're gonna have all this. You have all the emotions that come from these kind of games. But when we show up on Monday, make sure that we channel that into our game next Friday. Again, don't forget all of the good things we've done to this point to put us in a position to host a playoff game and kind of get the ball rolling.
Yeah, and you said it kind of right there in your own words. You got to earn the right to host a game next week, and that, you know, I think that's a lot of kids, you know, will be disappointed from the rivalry outcome, but being able to host it and knowing that you earn that's got to help you get into practice this week.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think you look at it and go, you know, from where we are last year to this year, I think we're a significantly better football team. You know, I think we've continued to grow, and, you know, I think kind of projecting into the future, we're going to be a significantly better football team next year. You know, and so don't waste these opportunities to keep getting better, right? Like, let's use these hopefully next 4 or 5 weeks to keep practicing, to keep getting better. Again, try to go make a run, try and make it weird, and then you know, kind of regroup and get ready.
You know, one of the unique things about MTCS that, you know, we saw last night, the senior night and all that kind of stuff. You know, one of your seniors, they said, had been there for 15 years. And that just goes to show, I mean, there's very few schools, really not just in the county, across the country, that you could say you were there for 15 years and some of these young men were there for 15 years. And talk a little bit how special that is and what it really means. And I saw some young kids interacting with your guys last night and how that next group coming behind them is what it means to them.
Absolutely. You know, I think that's what makes our place special is the community that we have. You know, it's not a place that people come to and then want to leave, right? Once you get to NTCS, most of them just stay. You know, and I think it's a testament to our administration, it's a testament to our teachers, it's a testament to the culture the entire school has. You know, I think I think things are done the right way. You know, and it's fun. It's been fun to watch them grow. You know, we had a lot of that senior group weren't football players when they were in middle school, or some of them weren't football players when they were freshmen, you know, and to watch them kind of come out and join and grow and get better has been a lot of fun to watch. You know, and then, you know, when you look down at our youth programs, our middle school, our elementary school, I think we have some really good coaches down there who are doing a really good job. I think, again, our community kind of shows through there. And so the future is very bright at MTCS. You know, we're still a young team. It's not an excuse. We're older than we were last year. But, you know, it does allow you to look at it and go, man, like the opportunity for growth is still so high. You play a first half like we did, and you see where the potential is, and we've got to get back in the film room and figure out how we keep playing like we did the first 2 quarters.
Yeah, and let's get into the playoffs now. You're going to host Chattanooga Grace, a great opportunity for your group Friday night. And if you were to advance, you'd play the winner of Trinity Christian and Franklin Christian, and you got a chance to your guys to go out and advance.
Yeah, absolutely. You get into the postseason, it takes a little bit different kind of edge. And I feel good about where we're at. We got some nicks and some bruises, that everybody has right now, but get healthy, clean some things up, try and go win a game, and then again, once you start getting into the playoffs, once you earn that right into the playoffs, at that point it's one game, and just go out playing for that game and move on. And I'm excited about our group. I think there's a lot of opportunity in front of us.
And you're watching your group last night. I always watch down there at the sidelines kind of afterwards. You can tell your group is hungry. That they did not like that taste last night. And I feel like personally they're going to use that as fuel coming up these next few weeks in the playoffs.
Absolutely. I think we've kind of said it about them all year. We've got a really scrappy bunch. We're not always the biggest team when we step on the field, but we're going to give you 4 quarters of a fight, and I think we did that last night. I thought they played really hard. I thought our effort was there. We just got to execute at a higher level. But again, I think the future is very bright. I think the want to win, the drive to win, all of the intangible pieces, that you kind of talk about as a coach, you can't coach that, right? It matters to you has to come from you. And, I do think it matters to our kids, and I think it matters to our community and to our coaching staff. And I think that's what's going to allow us to turn the page and understand that we've got to sit down and we've got to look ourselves in the mirror and figure out what we've got to do better, and go play in the playoffs and try and win some games.
And looking at the bigger picture for private school football in Murfreesboro, I mean, what a great atmosphere last night. A region championship on the line. Obviously, wish a play or two would have gone differently. But what does that say about what private school football in Murfreesboro is, and what it's growing to, and what it's going to be in the future?
Yeah, when I got here in 2021, me and Tackett kind of looked around and we're like, man, the bones are all here, and I think we've been able to prove that over 5 years. We've been a consistent winner, a consistent playoff team, consistently hosting home playoff games. You knew PCA was gonna get it going. You knew it was gonna be dog fights. And when we were the senior heavy team, they were the sophomore heavy team. We got them. Now when they were the senior heavy team, we were the sophomore heavy team. They got us. But I think this is going to be one of those games that year in and year out is going to have playoff seeding on the line, region championships on the line, bragging rights on the line, and it's what makes high school football fun. And I think both programs are going in the right direction, and I think it's going to continue to be a big game and a fun game, and I think we're going to win a few here in the coming years.
Oh, no doubt about that. One thing I need to do right here before we get into the next thing here is Eric Bolin and Landry Mason, both at double-figure tackles, and they are going to be our SRM's Concrete Solid Performer, locally grown, nationally known SRM Concrete. And speaking of SRM Concrete, that field is immaculate. It is beautiful. They've done a really good job, and I really enjoyed the facilities, and I know you're talking about it's even going to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't say enough. Really appreciate everything SRM has done. The field has been a game changer for us. Obviously on Friday nights it's fantastic, but for practice, it's been a huge benefit to us. Again, I think it goes back to our community cares. They're willing to help out and to make sure that our kids get to play with the best and have the best. And this off season we were able to upgrade our locker room. We were having a turf field. We got a brand new scoreboard coming in soon. And so, we're going to continue to add new things and continue to make it better. And, because our kids deserve it. I think they've done their part. They've worked their tail off. And so we're going to make sure that we have the very best. And, when you play in Murfreesboro, you're expected to win, right? It doesn't matter what school you're at. Like we're in the best city in the entire state of Tennessee for high school football. And, I think the future is very, very bright.
No doubt about that. And I know you're still getting over a little bit last night, but have you been able to turn a page at all and got anything into Chattanooga Grace, or do you start doing that today and later on this week?
Well, it's being a little unique because they're a region opponent, so we played them earlier. So we have a little bit of an idea of kind of who they are. For us though, it's going to be much more about making sure we fix us. That's
the next round.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you having me.
All right, this is MTCS coach Christian Peterson, and the Coaches Show is brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric, serving our community by providing affordable, reliable, and safe electricity. Online at mte.com.